to custody on several misdemeanor charges for allegedly protesting on January 6th inside the U.S. Capitol building. He's due in federal court today. This as polling shows Kelly leading the pack ahead of Michigan's Republican gubernatorial primary to take on Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer this fall. Within minutes of Kelly's arrest being reported, Michigan Democrats released a statement accusing him of dismantling public trust in democracy. Kelly has been a fierce critic of Whitmer, even calling for her arrest in 2020 over her strict COVID lockdown orders.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. The U.S. military just confirming that all 5 Marines on board an Osprey were killed when the aircraft crashed in the California desert yesterday. It happened during training in a remote area near the Arizona border. The Osprey is a hybrid airplane and helicopter criticized over its safety record. The crash remains under investigation. America is listening to Fox News.
I tend to second-guess dinners with friends because they're often interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall. If you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit Creon.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREON.com.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Sunny skies, nice temperatures, nice humidity. It's a beautiful afternoon for any plans you may have. Maybe get out of work early. 78 for the high. Tonight, clouds take over, but the evening is dry. Couple of showers after 3 in the morning. 62 Friday. Scattered showers, couple of thunderstorms, though not a lot of rain, but it's kind of a gloomy, cool day on Friday. 70. The weekend continues to look great. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's happening right here, right now.
Spare me the bull about constitutional rights.
The gentleman...
No, I will not yield, and I'm not going to yield for my entire 5 minutes, so don't ask again.
The Second Amendment, like all other rights, is not absolute.
We, as a whole of government approach, have been working on this since the recall, which was in February.
Do something is not a serious policy, but the actual policies that he listed are extremely troubling.
97.1 FM Talk.
Feeling the pinch of higher prices?
Golden Oak Lending can save you money with their low fixed rates.
James Hawkins here, president of Golden Oak. You can offset today's high prices by using the low interest equity in your home to pay off credit cards, make home improvements, or simply put cold hard cash back in your pocket.
Start saving money and skip 2 mortgage payments. Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Lending, short my blues.
NMLS 114937.
I'm Mike Carter, and I voted in 1999 for conceal and carry here in Missouri. Guns empower citizens. Foreign governments have said they would never invade the United States because there would be a gun behind every blade of grass. I like the sound of that. Not only was the Second Amendment meant to protect us from our own government, the world knows Americans value their Second Amendment rights and won't see them compromised like in some other countries. I'm Judge Mike Carter, Republican for State Senate in District 10. Your Second Amendment is safe with me. Go to MikeCarter.com to learn more. I'm Mike Carter, Republican for State Senate in the new 10th District. Our new district stretches from Fulton and Callaway County to Montgomery City, Troy and Lincoln County, Louisiana and Bowling Green and Pike, Wentzville and Forestell. Welcome to Trump country. In our new state Senate district, what connects us are the things we love, our flag, our country, our freedoms. Like President Trump, I'll defend the unborn, our Second Amendment, and your tax dollars. Go to MikeCarter.com to learn more. Paid for by Team Mike Carter, Mike Carter Treasurer.
Would you like a cleaning product that can be used in the garage, the laundry, and the kitchen, and save space in your cabinet? Hi, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green. To learn more, visit us at simplegreen.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
With Odyssey music stations, there's a different station for every taste, and they're all free. Listen to 97.1 live on your phone or browse the selection of music stations and make a soundtrack to your workday. It's all at Odyssey.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
In each of these moments, enough of us have come together to carry all of us forward. And we can do that now. History, faith, and reason show the way of unity. We can see each other not as adversaries, but as neighbors. We can treat each other with dignity and respect. We can join forces, stop the shouting, and lower the temperature. For without unity, there is no peace, only bitterness and fury. No progress, only exhausting outrage. No nation, only a state of chaos. This is our historic moment of crisis and challenge, and unity is the path forward.
The President of the United States on his inauguration day, speaking to the American people who had just put him into the Oval Office. And what was his message? What was his entire speech about on that day? It was essentially a message that says this is a new period of politics in our country, that the Biden administration was going to bring to the American people that encouragement, that example of working together, of eliminating division. He said we need to work not as adversaries, but as neighbors, and treat each other with dignity and respect. This week, there was an attempted murder of a Supreme Court justice 2 days ago. And the President of the United States hasn't spoken on this issue. We have not heard from President Biden, whose first message to the American people as president was to say that we need to treat each other with dignity and respect and as neighbors. We haven't heard from President Biden. We're not going to hear from President Biden. Because the truth of the matter is, all of that is lip service, credit for saying it, knowing that they'll never get busted for not doing it. That nobody out there who's covering this administration, who's covering Capitol Hill, who's covering Washington, D.C., who's covering politics, and has been at Donald Trump's neck for 4 years, peddling lies about the former president, which is a ground zero cause for the great division that exists in this country right now. None of those people who could compliment the president on a single thing that he did. And I'm telling you what, right now, I just went and filled up my tank with gas on the way here. I can't fill up my Chrysler Pacifica at the gas station without it clicking off before the dollar amount is too high. It's a freaking minivan. I didn't have that problem for the 4 years that Donald Trump was president. I know that things transpired in the last year of Donald Trump's presidency, COVID, a pandemic, that shook the economy up and turned everything upside down. But this president was supposed to come in and make things right. That's what they told us. That's what he told us. And of course, if you were paying attention, you'd have to see it to believe it, and you knew you were never going to see it. But the idea, the audacity of the people who are responsible for covering news and people who are responsible for providing truth to not talk about and condemn an attempted murder on a justice of the Supreme Court and his family, of which this individual has been charged with attempted murder right now. If you are willing to step up to the podium on day one, immediately after you were sworn in, and say those words, to say that we should not treat each other as adversaries but as neighbors, and to talk about dignity and respect, and to talk about how we need to move away from chaos. If that was so important that essentially the entire fabric of that inauguration speech was a lecture of encouragement to move in the direction of unity, and the President of the United States of America doesn't speak on this issue? How do we look at this administration and take it seriously? How can anybody who, I don't care where you were on the 2020 election, pro-Trump, anti-Trump, pro-Biden, anti-Biden. I know a lot of people who are anti-Trump and anti-Biden. I don't care where you were on this issue. But if you cannot see right now that we are a country adrift, and that the people who have their hands firmly wrapped around the chaos that has been purposely created by the people in this administration, running this administration, and President Biden himself, because he is the president of the United States. And no matter how much we think that he is or isn't the person sitting behind the steering wheel, he's the guy. They chose him. They allowed him to be their candidate. He's the guy. No matter how much you might have hated the last guy, where we are right now is frightening. There should be nothing more agreeable than a unified condemning of an attempted murder on a Supreme Court justice. And we haven't heard from this administration. Well, what are they focused on? Just ask Jimmy Kimmel.
We could all look back at these days and go, oh my God.
But we have made some progress there. There's 560,000, but it's moving. It's moving. My mother used to say, out of everything bad, some good will come if you look hard enough for it. So the reduction on the use of oil also increases the need to find alternatives.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there's good if you look for it. I'm sorry, I just paid $74 to not fill up my minivan. Hard to look for the bright side here. The tone-deaf nature of this, I mean, have you heard the president come out and really express that he understands that it is difficult right now? His advice is look on the bright side. My advice is fix it. And push back on those policies that you also came in day one to try to squash the oil industry so that you could elevate the green energy industry. It's not practical. And the middle class and the lower class Americans that you so champion when you are on the campaign trail, the people, the little guy, Democrats, you remember those folks? Do I need to remind you that these are your people? Because you're losing them. On every issue, you're losing the little guy because you're refusing to acknowledge their actual reality. You live in an elitist, wealth saturated reality that is not what Americans are experiencing today. And your little Laffy Taffy joke of look on the bright side is not something that Americans are going to hear and go, you know what, I hadn't considered that. There's a bright side to this. Maybe in 30 years, I'll be able to own an electric vehicle, and that makes my $74 in my minivan that didn't even fill the damn thing up worth it. Yeah, there's a lot of Americans out there right now thinking that. They're not tone deaf. They're not stupid. They're not ignorant. They don't care. The lack of empathy is far worse than the ignorance that could be fixed with a new person in that office.
No question
So there's
about
a
it.
lot of major things we've done. But what we haven't done is we haven't been able to communicate it in a way that is, let me say another way.
Well, see, that's we haven't been able to communicate
But
it.
look how the press has changed. Look how the press has changed.
It has changed. Oh, listen, I get it.
I know you overstand it.
Yeah.
You don't just understand it, you overstand it. But here's the deal. One of the things is that it's very difficult now to have even with notable exceptions, even the really good reporters, they have to get the number of clicks on nightly news. So instead of asking a question, anyway, it just everything gets sensationalized in ways that. But I'm convinced we can get through this. We have to get through it. And one of the things, look,
I'm going to take a break, and then we'll talk a little bit more.
I
If you
don't
don't
blame
mind,
you.
I'm sorry. Sorry, we have some of those.
Jimmy Kimmel with the assist. Mark that down in his statistics. The sheer irony of the president of the United States saying that we have a mass communication problem when he can't even complete a freaking sentence. And Jimmy Kimmel having to come and say, you know what, I think now would be a good time for the break. For the country. Jimmy Kimmel, one of the top apologists for anything that goes towards far left progressive policies, knows the disaster that's sitting right next to him and is doing everything he can to get through this interview to make sure that the president of the United States doesn't trip up. This is no Donald Trump. This is no Barack Obama. Even George W. Bush, who would trip over his words all the time. I still say strategery, which he never actually said. That was Will Ferrell, but it's a good episode. Even George W. Bush would go sit in that chair and be incredibly charming to the American people. His personality would come through and he seemed human. He seemed relatable. From where I sit, the biggest question mark that I have in my life, personally, not politically, personally, about what's going on in Washington, D.C., is what in the world is wrong with Jill Biden? I don't get it. There are people in my life who I love so dearly that I would stand in front of the bus to keep them from putting themselves in this kind of position. She pushed him in front of the bus. I don't get it. I think there are women across the country who are thinking the same thing. There are people across the country who are looking at this president and could we make fun of it? Of course we could make fun of it. Do people make fun of it? Of course they make fun of it. My line of work here is saturated with people who want to make fun of the bumbling words and word salad that comes out of this president's mouth on a regular basis. I don't find it funny. I find it sad for the human that I'm watching, and I find it scary for the country. And I look to the people around him and say, does anybody love him enough to keep him from doing this to himself? Because the result, the legacy of what this man is creating for himself and anybody that bears the Biden name is an utter disaster. It's incredibly sad to see. And tonight, they're going to start the January 6 hearings. You saw the New York Times headline that says this is a chance for Democrats to reshape the midterm message. That's what it's about. President Biden can continue to exist in whatever capacity he wanders around the White House, where they created the secondary White House room because they couldn't fit an everyday, all-day prompter in the Oval Office. You got to imagine that he's doing calls Like, how many things is he participating in where his words are on a prompter? And if his words are on a prompter and somebody put them there, did he write them, or are those words somebody else's? We're in trouble. Tonight, the January 6 hearings begin. Will anybody watch? Will anybody care? It's supposed to be highly produced. It's supposed to be highly produced from a former producer of a network that, those networks don't really get that many ratings either. So we'll see if this actually draws people in. I'm going to ask Joe Concha about that when we come back. He's the political columnist at The Hill and also Fox News contributor, and he has a way with words for sure. What should we expect from this overly produced hearing this evening? Look, it'll be fair. It'll be unbiased. Yeah, I know. Of course it won't be. Joe Concha will weigh in when we come back. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
You're falling for, baby, do you dare to do this? 'Cause I'm coming at you like a dark horse. Are you ready for a perfect storm, perfect storm? 'Cause what's your mind, there's no going back.
You won't be up before we are. This is Gordon Deal, host of This Morning, America's First News, from 4 to 5, just before the Mark Cox Morning Show from 5 to 9. This is where St. Louis comes to talk every morning. 97.1 FM Talk.
If you're looking to build a home on the Illinois side of the river, I need you to connect yourself just online at first, of course, cajonesinc.com, cajonesinc.com, to peruse what they can do, because they provide more options at a better price, higher quality, and a faster build time than any other builder that is out there. You can trust C.A. Jones to turn the house of your dreams into your home. And so many people on the Illinois side have already done this and have shouted their accolades for going through this process with people who they can trust. C.A. Jones makes a commitment to make sure that your process of building a home with them is as stress-free as it can possibly be. Of course, there's anxiety in the build and the money and all of that stuff that you have to get together on your own. But once that house starts to go up, it's like a dream coming true in front of your own eyes. That's what C.A. Jones is invested in. The website, like I said, is cajonesinc.com. And when you are building with them, if you go onto the website, you can pick out one of the layouts that they have there, and then the customization begins. They have a ton of different options for you to choose to make sure that the finish of your home is exactly how you want it. Find all the information online at cajonesinc.com.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
There are a lot of smart business people out there making smart decisions by getting Rhino Shield. The latest one, the Central Illinois Care Services, they have decided to go with Rhino Shield on the outside of their building so they won't have to worry about maintenance from now on. The list is long. Joe's Tire out in Sullivan, Stonehill Wineries in Herman. They've all got Rhino Shield on their buildings. You can have it on your business or your house. Just call 877-25-RHINO. Let Darren come out and give you a free estimate as to what it would cost to get this great product on your home. 25-year transferable warranty, 100% waterproof, 8 to 10 times thicker than paint. And as a satisfied customer, 15 years in, I can tell you it looks as good as the day they put it on. You're going to love Rhino Shield. Call them right now. Tell them you heard about it on the Mark Cox Morning Show. Again, 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
If you filed a tax extension in April, don't wait until it's too late to handle your tax issues. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm. Every year, thousands of Missourians file extensions when their taxes are due in April. But what people don't know is the extension only moves your deadline to file your return, not to pay your taxes. So if you didn't pay anything back in April, you could now owe taxes plus interest plus penalties. You think you bought yourself time, but really you've just added to the total bill. If this sounds like you, call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I am a local tax attorney with an A+ BBB rating, and I will meet with you right away to help handle your tax problems quickly. The deadline to file your return after an extension has already passed, so call the Lance Drury Law Firm now before it's too late. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I don't know nothing. What you know, Joe? Tell me something. What you know, Joe?
It was the most violent attack on the U.S. Capitol in more than 200 years. And tonight, in the very building where it took place, the House committee investigating the assault will lay out its initial findings in vivid detail for the American people.
It was a multi-level, multi-step process of trying to negate, nullify, and destroy Joe Biden's majority in the Electoral College.
Tonight's presentation, aides say, will serve as an opening statement of sorts, the first in a series of at least 7 hearings intended to show how Donald Trump's obsession with his election loss and repeated false claims of voter fraud laid the foundation for the deadly siege.
I'm surprised they didn't get like Hank Williams Jr. to record like a intro song for that, or maybe Carrie Underwood. Like, maybe both of them.
Yeah, I don't know if Hank Williams Jr. would record a song for that, but maybe you could get like
he absolutely wouldn't. But I think that they should have tried. The chicks, get out of here. Get out of here with that. Let's get to Joe Concha, who's probably got an opinion on this. Political columnist at The Hill, Fox News contributor, and joining us here on the Annie Frey Show. Joe, welcome back. We appreciate you coming with us.
Hank Williams Jr. absolutely would not participate.
It would probably just be filled with expletives, and that'd probably be my favorite part. Joe, what do you think about this whole produced hearing thing? I mean, a lot of people on my side of the aisle, specifically as a conservative, are leaning into the why do you have to produce this so much? But there's still a lot of content here that the Democrats and the rhinos that are on this committee think is important for people to hear about.
I think it's a movie we've already seen, right? We all know what happened. There was an impeachment over this already. Unless you have some sort of bombshell, some sort of smoking gun of Donald Trump literally commanding, the head of the Proud Boys to storm the Capitol, and they got it on tape or they got a text or whatever, then people have dug in on each side on this like they do with so many other things, and the needle doesn't move one bit. In fact, it may even be a net negative for the Democrats and the Kinsingers and the Cheneys on this panel, because people want their lives to be better in this country, probably more than in my lifetime. And when you see the main issues that are on the table, that people that are apolitical, that don't watch Fox News every day, don't listen to Annie Frey every day, they're busy just trying to earn money and take care of their families and protecting their homes and their children, that they don't really have too much time to get involved with all the theater. And in the end, as you mentioned, why the heck do you need the former president of ABC News on board here, the guy who spiked the Jeffrey Epstein story? So this isn't exactly a person who has pursued truth without fear or favor to anybody. Why you need him here to weaponize these hearings and turn them into political ads, that is the most telling thing to me. So I think in the end, people are going to tune out from this just like they did with impeachment. And you're going to see numbers on the broadcast networks that carry this particularly that may be even lower than they were if they just had regular programming on. That I can guarantee you, actually. We could go back and play the tape.
Yeah, Joe Concha with us right now. You hit the nail on the head. I hadn't thought about it necessarily in this way, but we've read the articles, the headlines, New York Times themselves saying this is an opportunity for Democrats to reshape the narrative for the midterms. And you're saying the production value of this is going to turn into campaign commercials.
Precisely. People will see right through it when they see this Aaron Sorkin type of West Wing thing going on, right? And the music and everything else like that. Look, I will not defend in any way, shape, or form what happened at January 6th in terms of, and anybody heard a police officer that day should have the book thrown at them and then some. I've said that on the air multiple times. And if we want to get to the bottom of exactly how this happened, because it's never happened before, right, then you have to have a truly bipartisan commission, one that doesn't say, hey, Jim Jordan and Jim Banks, you can't come on here, but we'll have Cheney and Kinzinger on, who are the most critical of the former president, probably more critical than most Democrats, and we'll call it somehow a bipartisan commission. I'm sorry, people aren't going to buy this. And when you see inflation at a 40-year high, and when you see gas prices now above $5 per gallon, an all-time high, and when you see skyrocketing crime and police officers being targeted like never before, and when you see what's happening in our schools in terms of education, and we want our kids protected. I have elementary school kids, and the border, obviously, not just the millions of migrants coming over since this president took office, but fentanyl killing a record number of Americans. I think most that are sane, not the partisans that watch Joy Reid and think that she's actually somehow a journalist, but the people that matter in the middle or the apolitical that just want baby formula for their kids, for example, they're going to look at this and say, this is more BS, it's more theater, solve the problems in front of you instead of putting all your effort into this, which doesn't move the ball forward in any way, shape, or form.
Fox News contributor Joe Concha with us right now, listing a whole host of issues that I always reiterate here. You don't have to turn on the news to know that any of those things are problems. They're hitting American people's lives without anybody having to tell them what they think about it. And then Joe Biden last night here on Kimmel, listen in here.
No, I'm serious.
There's something to that. Yeah.
No, but I'm serious. You turn on the TV, look at the ads. When's the last time you saw biracial couples on TV? When's the last time you saw the way, people are selling products. They do ads to sell products, and they sell products when they appeal to people. This generation is going to change everything. We just got to make sure we don't give up. There's an ability for us to do everything from increase the access to education, healthcare. Look what we did in healthcare.
I'm glad we have Joe Concha here to decipher what the president of the United States just said there. Go ahead, Joe. Tell us what he meant.
I'm supposed to say something because if you don't say anything while you're on a radio show, then that's called a dead air, right?
Yeah.
I'm stunned. I've heard that clip 3 times.
It's bizarre.
I don't know. It's bizarre. Exactly. And even Kimmel, who is, it's neck and neck between him and Colbert as far as who could be the biggest sycophant, right? Who could possibly be the bigger activist, right? You're never going to confuse that guy, Kimmel, with Johnny Carson or a young Letterman or even, Conan O'Brien or Jay Leno, right? It's just so political. And look, the president told several lies last night. This is another way to put it, Annie. Lies. When he says that the U.S. currently has the strongest economy in the world, we retracted last quarter. Negative growth. If it happens again, we're officially in a recession. Many think that we already are. I mentioned 40-year high inflation. So how can you say we have a strong economy? He looks completely out of touch in those situations. But the thing that bothered me the most, as I completely take over this interview, and I'm sorry because it's more interesting when we have a conversation, but I'm rambling at this point, is when the president of the United States, when they introduce him and the curtain goes away and he keeps his mask on just until the cameras are on him, then he takes it off, right?
Gross.
You say, okay, I guess he's still COVID conscious. Until 5 seconds later, he's shaking the guy's hand in Kimmel and then talking to him for 25 minutes, less than 6 feet away because of science, I guess. Enough already. I can't take it anymore.
I'm gonna let you breathe for a second. At the beginning of this show today, I played the clip that I play often here from President Biden's inauguration speech, and it was about unity. And he says there that we need to treat each other not as adversaries, but as neighbors and with dignity and respect. And he says, if we don't do this, we're going to devolve into chaos. I wonder what your thoughts are on the fact that the president of the United States has not spoken on the fact that there is a man who's been charged with attempted murder of a Supreme Court justice and their family.
Not just the president, but I'll take the media angle on this for a second. The New York Times, the so-called paper of record, talked about this story, reported it not on page A1, the front page, not A10, A20. that's buried. You're telling me that if this was Justice Sotomayor, or if it was Kagan, or if it was Ketanji Jackson, that this wouldn't be front page news as some sort of conservative attempted to murder them? I mean, and people don't understand the ramifications of this. If Kavanaugh were to be murdered, then the president, the Democratic one, gets to nominate whoever he wants. I saw, what was that, the Pelican Brief, right? Literally 2 were killed in that book, and you say, that'll never happen in real life. Well, it almost did, and now you see protesters outside of Kavanaugh's home hours after this threat. It's against the U.S. code. You cannot do this under federal law, and yet it still continues to happen, and the president, for 24 minutes last night, couldn't say one word about it, or that joke of a host in Kimmel. Meanwhile, it's not like the Supreme Court didn't come up. They talked about abortion a lot and that going away. So it's not like the president just could have pivoted there and said, by the way, that is unacceptable. I condemn it. And I'm going to make sure that anybody who's near that home is going to be arrested moving forward. That would have been a moment of unity, but he just couldn't do it because it's not in the DNA, Annie.
Jill, I feel your passion and your energy, and I'm right there with you. Do you what is politically sacrificed when the president of the United States says we should not try to murder even the conservative Supreme Court justices?
I know. I look, I'll be totally transparent because some people may never have heard me before on the show and said, just another, blowhard Republican conservative his whole life. No, I voted for Bill Clinton. All right. I was young and it was 1996 and the country was going in a very good direction. I like the fact he pivoted to the middle and said the era of big government is over and welfare reform and balanced budget amendments. To me, I'm like, this guy's doing a good job, right? That's before Monica, by the way. But still, if you just look at the job performance, Bill Clinton was a very good president. So I'm not saying this as some sort of partisan to rile up people because I hate Democrats and I love Republicans. I just like common sense. And the common sense thing for the president to do there was to bring that up. But that didn't happen. And I'm telling you, when the ratings come out for this, Kimmel, who's like a distant third to a guy named Gutfeld on Fox News, who has like 1/10 the resources in terms of writers and studio audience and all that fun stuff. He's listening to him, and then Colbert, because Colbert, I guess, is the more partisan of the two. But you're going to see the numbers probably weren't very good for this interview. Maybe a little bump, but I didn't hear anybody talking about it today. Did you? Did you hear what the president said? I didn't understand it.
I didn't even know about the mask thing. Now I kind of feel like I got to go back and watch the replay of it just to see how absolutely absurd it is. In this here, I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. We have the Mississippi splitting the red state of Missouri and the very blue state of Illinois, which is actually where I live. And, COVID is something that exists in the world, but it is not the focus of anybody in my orbit right now. When the president walks out and does that, there's something that's telling me that he wants to make sure that people still have COVID on the mind.
Yeah, because it was it's why he's in office, right? You take away COVID, and Donald Trump was probably in my lifetime, and I'll say Reagan a little bit more perhaps, but because Reagan had 8 years, but Trump before COVID, I mean, you have a record number of people working, particularly minorities, and you have GDP growth at levels that Barack Obama said you would need a magic wand to get to. And he's pulling troops out of troubled regions because it's not our fight anymore. So we had peace abroad, we had prosperity at home. And I think I had a point to all this, and I forget what it was.
Well,
why did I bring up Trump again?
COVID, Biden, Trump.
Oh, COVID, right.
Yes.
Yeah. So COVID got Biden elected because he didn't have to campaign. So then the media was going to focus on Trump anyway, but then they really allowed him not to leave his basement and to do all these interviews that were handpicked. And when it's remote, boy, it's a lot easier to answer questions in those situations. And then that's what got him in, because he said he was the guy who was going to stop and control the virus. Those were his words: stop and control. And instead, more people have died under Biden with vaccines and better therapeutics, mind you, than they did under Trump, who didn't have any of those things, who gave him the vaccine. So yeah, COVID is his crutch. But you look at poll after poll after poll, everybody's priorities are inflation, gas prices, education, immigration. And if those are the four big issues, nighty-night, it's a red tsunami come November. Ann.
I can't wait, honestly. Joe Concha, you are a bright spot in kind of a gloomy day when we're looking at the political world, and we're always grateful when you come on the show with us. Thanks for being here.
And I hate the Cardinals. Yet I keep showing up as a Cubs fan, but
well, you should have watched the game last night.
You
should have watched the game last night. It was abysmal.
Oh, yeah. No, I read about it. Cool. All right, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Joe Concha there, Fox News contributor and political columnist at The Hill. I love talking to him. And boy, that is some energy. He was getting paid by the word.
I hope I'm not paying him
He's not
because
getting
that
paid.
was
Oh,
awesome.
Yes, it was awesome. If you didn't hear the whole thing, or if you came in the middle and you were like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" Get on that Odyssey app and just click the rewind button. If you favorite 97.1 FM Talk, you can scroll back and you can queue up the show right from the start at noon or 12:25 when we had Joe start his little conversation here with us on the Annie Frey Show. We love to have you listening on the Odyssey app, and you're invited to do that anytime you like for the whole station, the whole day. The Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll: will you watch any of the January 6th hearings? You're going to watch it live? You're going to watch highlights afterwards? You're going to pay attention to whatever we cover Friday? Or no way? Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and vote. We'll be back in a minute.
Joe.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I don't know, my mama tried to tell me so.
The Mark Reardon Show. Dr. Safar.
Every single patient not only responded to it, but they completely responded. Now, of course, small study needs to be done on a larger scale. Some of them have had 2 years follow-up, and it hasn't come back.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
If you've done the spring cleaning thing and you've kind of cleared out the junk in your garage, my husband and I did that. We got a dumpster a few months ago. It was like the most exciting thing I've done in my adult life. That says something. You clean out your garage, but then you realize I still don't have a place for everything. You kind of try to maneuver things, but you know that it's going to take about half the summer for everything to kind of get messed up again. The Closet Factory, a St. Louis family-owned business, the Closet Factory can come into your garage and create a whole customized storage solution specific to your needs. This is a really, really awesome service that they offer that might even allow you to say, park your car in your garage after you get done with the services at Closet Factory. The website is closetfactory.com. That's closetfactory.com. I want you to visit that website and just look around and see the different types of things that they can do for you and your home. And I'm telling you what, free consultations are available. But when you sit down with them and they talk to you about your issue, you are going to quickly understand the vast array of budget conscious, functional applications of what the Closet Factory does, all the way to beautiful finishes that you're going to want to show off to every visitor who comes to your house. 314-961-4300, online at closetfactory.com.
This is Judge Mike Carter, Republican candidate for state Senate in the new 10th District. Whether you're from Lincoln, Pike, Montgomery, Callaway, or St. Charles County, we all want to safeguard our freedom. We don't need Washington making personal decisions about health or education for our families or children. I believe in personal freedom and believe that our rights are enshrined in the United States Constitution and not at the whim of unelected bureaucrats. I'll put my knowledge and experience to work for you, protecting those rights, opposing tax hikes, keeping families safe by opposing those who want to defund the police, making small businesses and family farms a priority, and safeguarding our Second Amendment. I'm running to bring decision-making back where it belongs, with we the people. I hope you'll take the time to go to MikeCarter.com to learn more about what I want to do for you. I'm Mike Carter, and I hope to earn your vote to be your next Republican state senator, paid for by Team Mike Carter.
Summertime is no time to run out of energy, guys, and Victory Men's Health can help. Mark Cox here. Book your appointment today at any of their 3 locations. They're now in Wing Haven in O'Fallon, Missouri. They're in Town and Country in the original location in O'Fallon, Illinois. Victory Men's Health has 400 plus 5-star Google reviews. There isn't another men's clinic in town that comes close to that kind of rating. Book your appointment today online at victorymenshealth.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-676-5919 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-676-5919. That's 800-676-5919. What do you have to lose? Call 800-676-5919. Again, 800-676-5919.
I'm Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group. I'm proud to say we are a family business. Through innovative financial tools, my nephew Bob and I are committed to making sure your retirement nest egg is kept safe from market declines. As a matter of fact, we have never lost a dime of our clients' money, and we won't lose any of yours either.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, and the secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. As we look ahead at the likelihood of increasing volatility in the market, it's important that you protect your nest egg from market losses, as that's the engine that drives your retirement income.
Our family would like to help your family retire comfortably and keep your retirement safe and secure. Call us now for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 36 years. Call us now, 314-993-9494. Or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, The Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 53 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Up to the minute traffic reports, so you don't have to keep looking at your phone. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
American girls and American guys, we'll always stand up and salute. We'll always recognize when we see old glory flying. There's a lot of men dead, so we can sleep in peace at night when we lay down our head. My daddy served in the
This
army.
is the Annie Frey Show.
His right eye, but he flew a flag out in our yard.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
My mother, my brother, my sister, and me to grow up and live happy.
Tyrants disarm the people they intend to oppress. Those are the facts. Jewish people in Germany were prohibited from owning arms. 13 million Jews were exterminated by the Nazis. The Soviets instituted gun control and millions were killed. 20 million dissidents were rounded up and exterminated. Mao disarmed the Chinese people. 20 million dissidents were exterminated. In Cambodia, the Khmer Rouge were able to take advantage of the fact that limited gun ownership to just hunters and killed 1.5 million to 3 million Cambodians. Turkey disarmed Armenians and 1.5 million Armenians were killed in the Armenian genocide. The South disarmed slaves and actively fought against their arming. And then in the 20th century, armed Black Army veterans, for example, in Louisiana, were able to defend against the KKK. Even fact-checking organizations, Snopes, said, quote, "We find it reasonable to conclude that gun confiscations facilitated by laws requiring the registration and licensing of firearms played a crucial role in the carrying out of 20th century genocides." This is not fiction. This is in our lifetime. This is in our grandparents' lifetime. This is in our recent history. This is why the Second Amendment matters. It's not trivial. It's not something you just brush aside. This is a foundation of liberty. It's who we are.
Texas Representative Chip Roy saying what a lot of people are thinking about gun control and what is this legislature going to do about the calls for it. If I can think, I don't even know what the shooting was where I initially made this point, and I'm going to make it again now. But we have these instances, and then it's so important for elected officials to do something, anything, so that they can say that they did something. Does it not matter if the something that they do affects the bottom line of the root cause of the issue? There's a whole host of different things that could be passed right now that are discussed on a regular basis when it comes to the issue of gun control. And when it's discussed, the question is this going to stop criminals from doing the crimes that we're trying to prevent? And the answer is, generally speaking, no. And I had somebody reply to me, send me a message or tweet or something about, like, if we pass laws that aren't going to stop criminals from creating crime, from doing crime, then really what's the point of passing laws in any capacity? Because if it's not going to stop criminals from doing bad things, then why would we pass laws to begin with? You have to balance out the measures that the government is taking to stop these things from happening with what it does to remove rights from law-abiding citizens. If it's out of balance, it should not be done. You know, we talk about magazine capacity. You could put a whole bunch of magazines on your belt, and you basically have your only limitation to how many rounds you can have on you in a gun if you're just using a handgun. What kind of magazines do you have?
For
handguns.
Most of mine are 7 rounds.
7 rounds? I think mine are bigger than that. I think mine's 10 plus 1.
At the very most of them are like 15 to 17 plus 1.
Yeah, I might have. I can't keep up with them. No, we've invested. But I think that I have a 6-hour P320, I think, is the 10 plus 1. But all you got to do is have another magazine right there that's loaded, and you just click, drop, slam it in there, and you're loaded again. And it's that simple. It's like saying that in order to keep people who are overeating from eating too much, we're going to make the individual serving sizes of bags of chips have less chips in them. Well, what if they eat a second bag of chips and a third, a fourth, and a fifth, whatever it is that they are needing to satiate their cravings? You don't stop people from doing it. It's not practical. But what you do is you limit access to reasonable defense mechanisms that I would have in place if I want to protect my family. I talked about this, I think it was last week. But if I'm in my home and 2 people come into my house and they are cracked out and they're going to my medicine cabinet and they're looking for any loose change or cash that they can get to. They're not in there long. It's not personal. It's so not personal that if I die or my kids die in the process, it's just collateral damage because they needed a hit. This is what a lot of Americans are dealing with in drug-ridden communities. We could get to the southern border in a minute if you like. In drug-ridden communities where people are so desperate for that next hit that they'll do whatever. They have nothing to lose. You have everything to lose. And the only thing stopping you from losing everything from someone who has nothing to lose at all is a gun. And I'm telling you what, right now, as somebody who's practiced with my handguns and who knows how to use them, if there are 2 people, just 2, in my home without their sensibilities, obviously, you're telling me that I got to take care of business in, 7 plus 1 shots or 10? I mean, I'm not bad. I'm maybe good, but I'm not necessarily that good. If I've got my kids in tow, I run out of ammunition in my gun, and I could just say, well, I was limited, so. There isn't a practical application of rules like that I see you put in place that actually will curb the person who's bringing 4 and 5 handguns on them into a situation, or a rifle and a handgun with multiple magazines that are loaded. I mean, you always hear about going back to the assailant's car and they've got loads of ammo in there, or back at the house. Like they are prepared to do maximum damage. We've talked on this show about connecting juvenile records in background checks. Federal background checks already exist. If you are somebody who's pushing for background checks, they exist. I would absolutely support the idea of the behavioral issues that go into a juvenile report to be a part of whatever it is that's looked into when an individual goes to purchase a gun at 18. Should an 18-year-old be able to purchase a gun? I think that they should. Should they be able to purchase every kind of gun? I could maybe be persuaded to understand why somebody might think that you should have to wait to get an AR-15, but from a constitutional standpoint, it's really hard to reconcile those two things. The slippery slope thing exists, and the concern that American citizens have from a government structure whose actual purpose is not to push back against these types of shootings and make sure that they never happen again. Their actual purpose is to cripple the gun lobby, because that cripples their chance, those Republicans' chances of winning elections. It's all money. That's like what I've talked about every single day today, or every single day this week, but it is just so incredibly true. If you follow the money, you'll understand things that don't make sense otherwise. And that's certainly the conversation that won't be talked about on the news with these politicians. There's a lot of righteous indignation that takes place, and nothing ever gets done. Because we don't talk about these issues when there hasn't been a school shooting in the rearview mirror, a recent one. We're going to take a break. Tyrus is going to join us at 1:05, and at 1:25, Hans von Spakovsky to give us the lay of the land of the SCOTUS rulings that have been coming out and haven't come out quite yet. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute.
This is Judge Mike Carter. As the judge for Wentzville and an attorney, I've had the honor of working with Lincoln County Prosecutor Mike Wood and St. Charles Prosecutor Tim Lomar. We all share a great respect for the rule of law and keeping our families and communities safe. Cori Bush, AOC, and the others demanding to defund the police don't have a clue. As your next Republican state senator, I'll oppose those who want to defund our police and tie the hands of our law enforcement. As a judge, I know firsthand how dedicated our law enforcement professionals are. Our police and sheriff's deputies put their lives on the line every day to keep our families and communities safe. They will know that as your state senator, Mike Carter has their back. I'll also protect our Second Amendment rights and see that strong laws are in place to dissuade those who think they can come here from St. Louis or elsewhere to break in your car or home. I'm Mike Carter, and I want to earn your vote to be your next Republican state senator. Go to MikeCarter.com to learn more. Paid for by Team Mike Carter.
So Air Comfort Service, they know that HVAC systems aren't cheap, and they know that if your air conditioner is on the fritz, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, just please magically start working again the way it's supposed to, because right now you don't have a lot of extra cash laying around, because nobody does. And a new air conditioning system, it's going to hit you. Air Comfort knows this. And when they come to your house and they assess your situation, if you do need to replace that air conditioning unit, they're going to give you options. They're going to work with you to make sure that you can afford what it is that you need to put into your house. They have 0% financing options that are going to make this process a whole lot easier. They also have different types of rebates available to you, double carrier cool cash rebates that are going to make it a lot easier for you to access that new air conditioning unit that's going to keep you in your comfort zone and make you happy. You can call them at 314-513-0091. They're online at aircomfortservice.com.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, Board and Batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no obligation consultation today. sidingexpress.com. Primetime.
Del Walmsley and the Wealth Cycle.
This is the wealth cycle that I've taught for 30 years. Buy one house, 10 houses, an apartment, 2 apartments, 8, 20, 500 units, 1,000 units, 2,000, 5,000 units. And as you keep putting the money and the profits back in, you become one of those rich people. And much quicker than you'd even believe.
Learn Dell's Wealth Cycle at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Use promo code 2022. Save 60%. Code 2022. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
5 U.S. Marines are dead. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. The military confirming details from the crash of an Osprey in the Southern California desert yesterday.
An investigation into what caused the crash of the MV-22B Osprey aircraft is ongoing a day after the accident. In a statement, the Marine Corps said the crash happened during a training exercise. The MV-22B is a twin-engine tilt-rotor aircraft that can take off and land like a helicopter but fly as a turboprop aircraft, and versions of it are flown by the Marine Corps, Navy, and Air Force.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers, the identities of the Marines not yet released. City officials in Philadelphia just announcing 2 arrests in Virginia in connection with last weekend's deadly mass shooting in a busy entertainment district. The suspects will be extradited and face murder charges. 2 previous arrests were not in connection with the 3 deaths during the shooting. The Justice Department launching a pattern and practice probe of state police in Louisiana over allegations of racial profiling and use of force misconduct, the first such federal probe of a statewide law enforcement agency in more than 2 decades. $5 a gallon. Gas prices nationwide already hitting that mark in the Gas Buddy average, and AAA is close behind at a new record $4.97 a gallon today, with 20 states plus D.C. topping $5. And for some drivers, cheaper options are going away. Costco says only members can buy its gas in New Jersey beginning July 5th. That's already the chain's policy in most states.
In New Jersey, drivers for a very long time have been able to fill up without that Costco card. No more. Costco gas is typically around 15 cents cheaper. Today, I think it's about 18 cents cheaper than the state average. So it's a real blow for those non-members that rely on that gas.
Fox Business's Madison Allworth in Garfield, New Jersey. America is listening to Fox News.
I tend to second guess dinners with friends because they're often interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit Creon.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREON.com.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Sunny skies, nice temperatures, nice humidity. It's a beautiful afternoon for any plans you may have. Maybe get out of work early, 78 for the high. Tonight, clouds take over, but the evening is dry. A couple of showers after 3 in the morning, 62 Friday. Scattered showers, a couple of thunderstorms, though not a lot of rain, but it's kind of a gloomy, cool day on Friday, 70. The weekend continues to look great. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Arm yourself with information. Second Amendment Radio is a staple of solid firearm information on 97.1 every weekend.
Saturday from 3 to 4 and Sunday from noon to 1.
It's Second Amendment Radio and the great outdoors. Constitutional and cultural issues front and center. Arm yourself with information. In a time of misinformed political rhetoric, get the facts here. 97.1 FM Talk.
Station KFTK, an equal opportunity employer, is dedicated to providing a broad outreach for job vacancies at our stations. We seek the help from local community organizations in referring qualified applicants to our stations. Community organizations that wish to receive our job vacancy information can reach out to Frankie Fan at 206-577-2432. In addition, all listeners are encouraged to visit Odyssey.com for an online listing of job vacancies of all Odyssey radio stations.
At 420ID.com, we make it easy to get your Missouri medical marijuana card. Dispensaries are open and inventory is in, so why wait? 420ID is the only company that provides you with a real plastic ID card and have served over 19,000 happy Missouri patients. Open late every day until 9 p.m. If we can't approve you, you pay nothing at 420ID.com. Today is the day to sign up for your Missouri medical marijuana card at 420ID.com. Use promo code RADIO and save $30 today. That's 420ID.com.
If you're planning to sell your home in the St. Louis area, now may be the best time to capture the highest sale value before the market changes. Mark Cox here, and according to industry experts, the real estate market has shifted. Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty agrees with that. She also has options to help every type of home seller because she understands every situation is different. If you need to sell your home fast, but you're worried about finding the next home, Gloria has the answers and the solutions. She has an instant cash offer program that gives you above market cash offers. No showings, no hassles. You pick the closing date, even up to a year, giving you the cash and the time you need to find that next home. Call Gloria today about that instant cash offer and her guarantees and her other options that'll help you sell fast for the most money. Call 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Hi, this is Ken. And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Hey, it's Mark Reardon, and if you're looking to get the exterior of your home or business repainted, CertaPro's expert painters can help. They focus on the power of timeliness, the power of inspiration, the power of doing it right, the power of localness, the power of minimal disruption. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated and can help make your home or business look amazing. Get your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. I've hired CertaPro for more than a decade because the work is amazing. For your home or business and the power of pro, CertaPro painters.
Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Find the car you want, new or used. Get it at Clement, get pre-approved. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. ClementAutoGroup.com.
Odyssey is an all-encompassing audio landing zone where you can find podcasts in any genre and listen live to 97.1. Not to mention that you can rewind within the last 24 hours. 97.1 FM Talk on the go.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I think for a lot of people, a conversation about civility feels like it misses the mark when constitutional rights that you believe that you had for over 50 years are about to be overturned. The justices have security. So far, all of the protests have seemed overwhelmingly nonviolent. There are plenty of protests that happen every single day in this country, around the country, at abortion clinics, blocking women from getting into clinics. And we don't cover those as if there's 4 alarm fires. And so, yes, they're going to be protests in front of Kavanaugh's house because people are angry. And as long as they stay nonviolent, I think for most of the people who are watching it, you can understand where they're coming from. Even if you may think politically it's not the right thing, you can understand sort of where that animated feeling is coming from.
So Laura Jarrett there on CNN, that was from May 9th. I'm just waiting for the follow-up since it's gotten a little less civil, attempted murder and such. Tyrus, let's talk to him about it and see what he thinks.
You're becoming like my most stable relationship.
Enough said.
Fox News contributor, host of the podcast Tyrus and Timpf, author, and weekly guest here on the Annie Frey Show. Tyrus, welcome back to the show. Good to have you here.
Also master of fish husbandry, but that's,
okay, I'll write that down. We'll get that on the next sheet for me to read off.
Just so you know, I'm here with our good friend Devin from Fox News Radio.
Yeah.
She said hello. Always pleasure.
Thank you. Hi, Devin. Great to hear. Awesome. I appreciate that. You have followed all of the news and stuff for quite some time, and you've been there for the Trump years. And when did you first get into news media? Who was the president at the time? What year was that?
When I really started becoming like where I'm paying attention every day was probably John McCain and Barack Obama, probably like to the point where I was like checking everything every day.
So is the rhetoric worse today than it has ever been, or does it just feel like it because we're in the here and now?
No, it's worse now because there's no decorum, there's no filter, and there's no middle ground. It's all black and white. Either you're against me or you're with me. And if you're against me, it's not that I disagree with you. You're a racist, you're a monster, you're a bad person, you're the devil. It's become that. And if you disagree with somebody, it's like you can lose your skin color, you can lose your job. I mean, it's pretty bad. It's like, but it's not bad like tough bad. It's bad like super petty. I guess it's like little things that, like you didn't say excuse me after you burped and everybody wants you gone.
Always say excuse me after you burp. I think
sometimes I don't. I don't have time.
It's a busy day. It's a busy time to be alive. I've got this other clip here, and I'm just going to sum it up from Sunny Hotson. I know how you love a clip from The View, but I think the last time I played a clip from The View, it was because I was talking to you and you said that it's like your favorite. But she was making the point that these protesters showing up at the homes of these Supreme Court justices is because they want to make it really clear to those justices how important this issue is. And I mean, there are actually laws that say that you can't do that. I don't know why.
There's two of them. There's two of them.
What do we do with this as Americans now that it's gone past just, it's still unlawful protesting, but air quotes, peaceful protesting?
Doesn't matter what it is. It's against the law. That's like literally if someone had the gall to try to sue Tyrus and Timpf, and Kat and I stood out front of their lawn holding a ghetto blaster over my head, playing our podcast, saying, you better change your mind, with Timpf showing fists the whole time. People would be like, you can't do that to the jury. Why? Because it's against the law. They should be arrested. They shouldn't be there. And they're also causing a distraction. We just had an assassination attempt. And when security is focused on the, quote, peaceful protest, it allows bad actors to get closer than they should. So, again, it's just hilarious that the previous administration was accused of not following laws and breaking laws constantly. And now we're seeing, as long as it's on our side of the fence, we won't follow the law. So it's a really bad look. And Sunny, again, she should change her name to Cloudy, because she just, every time she talks, it's just like rain. You just want to cry. Yeah. It doesn't matter what their intentions were. It doesn't matter. You cannot stand out and try to influence a decision of not just the Supreme Court, any judge or any juror. You can't do that. It's against the law, and to justify it because you agree with them goes back to my point where you can get away with anything as long as you do it in the name of my cause. And that type of ignorance we have not seen. It's like you always think as the future comes on, you get like smarter and more technology, but we can literally get a phone that will, like, you can say, hey, where's my favorite restaurant? Oh, and they'll tell you, but we also have gotten to new depths of stupidity. So it's like, I'd almost trade some of the smart technology for the less dumbness that we're seeing, because to say that with a straight face, it's like, well, he killed in the name of love. So, let's let him go, because, he did it for the right reasons. Although you shouldn't kill. Again, I don't condone it. But if you must, do it in the name of love.
How do we get back to the place where what the law is what matters?
First of all, we need term limits. That's the first thing we need. So these lifelong politicians don't have time to set up shop like they do now. And two, we have to get somebody in there that's willing to go back to law and order. Now, I'm not talking arrest them, make a statement, do it the right way. But we're not doing those things. And until somebody decides enough's enough, I don't know what's it going to take. I mean, we just had an assassination attempt and still everyone's saying, well, their heart's in the right place. What does that have to do with anything? Like, we need to get away from emotions and back to just the law.
We haven't even heard from the president or the administration saying, by the way, it's wrong to try to kill Supreme Court justices.
Yeah. Well, again, he's just finished doing Kimmel. So, he's got a lot going on.
Did you watch that?
No, I didn't. I watched my Boston Celtics handle business last night. That's what I watched.
I'm sure it was infinitely more entertaining than the Jimmy Kimmel experience. It was really awful and sad, actually. I mean, I'm wondering what you think about. There's partisan media out there, of course. I don't think that that's going to go away. I don't think that there is going to be some sort of wake up call because there's money involved and people are doing what they need to do to make money. And so we have to get to a place where conversation can be had between dissenting parties, where even at the end of that conversation, maybe you disagree as much, if not more, than you disagreed at the beginning. But the conversation has to be able to take place. Right now, if there's a conversation that goes in a direction that you don't like, at least one side of the aisle is permitted and encouraged to throw an absolute tantrum about it. And the other side is said, don't you even dare speak on it.
Yeah, I don't, under the current way things are, probably no time soon. I mean, for example, I listened to your radio show yesterday and you were talking about how vicious the trolls are getting, and how they're just going at you for just speaking an ideal. And you had a great point. You weren't trying to solve the gun crisis on Twitter. You asked a question for debate and they try to destroy you for it. And I think as long as that is, and then you get somebody on TV like a Sonny who will say, well, you know what, they're just really passionate about the Democratic Party, opposed to saying, I don't care what side of the aisle you are, you don't talk to people that way, and no one wants to hear your voice if your voice is aggressive and you talk violence when you don't get your way. But until someone starts doing those things on the big scale, until we get somebody who's actually into politics for the right reasons, and honestly, we need a complete overhaul. We need term limits. We got to get these establishment guys out of politics.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a culture.
Not in my life.
Yeah. We're speaking with Tyrus, Fox News contributor. He's also author of his book, Just Tyrus, a memoir. Please go get it and learn more about Tyrus. There's a lot in there for you to take in, and it's been reviewed with just accolades. Tyrus, I think that one of the ways that we do bring this back to some sense of civility is honestly through comedy. I've talked to you about this. I almost talk to you about this every week because I just enjoy it so much. I watch Gutfeld at night, any night that I have the opportunity to do it. And all of the issues of the day are discussed there, but they're talked about in a way that has levity. And they're talked about in a way that does speak to the importance of it, but also it brings in the absurdity of the world we live in right now. And I think that's going to make an actual difference.
Yeah, well, it depends. I mean, because we're uncancelable, but at the moment,
knock on wood.
We tend to have a lot of fun. You know what? I'm glad you mentioned the Gutfeld show, which is on pretty much every day except for Sundays. So give you a day to relax. We need to start a campaign. We need to get Kat Temp a blanket, some form of.
Yes, she was really bent out of shape about how cold it was, and I actually felt her in that moment. I was with her. I'm Team Temp on that one for sure.
So we need to get together. Maybe you could start a poll. Because a nice crochet, something something nice, tasteful, of course. I did see a nice sweater of kittens. And I get it, cat, kittens, I get it. So I think maybe you could spearhead that.
Okay. We'll get her a sweater.
I think that would be a thing. But I mean, that's the point. We keep it light. You got to keep it funny. Although last night I had to yell at him. He just, he just, sometimes his creepiness is just a whole other level. And sometimes I have to be the angry. I'm turning into Ralph Cramden. So, but that's part of it. And we have fun. We got a strong cast and we're all different. We have different philosophies and different ways of doing things. But the first thing we do is we treat each other as teammates. We don't, it's like if we disagree, I don't Kat doesn't wait for me outside the green room. Like, what'd you say, bruh? You better watch your mouth. We don't have that.
I bet she could if she wanted to.
Yes.
And my money might be on Kat in that regard as well. We had Joe Mackey on our show. He's in St. Louis at the St. Charles Funny Bone this weekend, and he came on and talked to us. And I asked him, I said, we've got Tyrus on every Thursday. Let me know, talk to us about the inside out of Tyrus. And he was so flattering of how kind you were and how fun it is to work with you and how smart you were. And it was the God's honest truth. He was sincere about it. So I told him I was going to ask you about Joe Mackey.
Well, first of all, he hasn't shown up to work in, I don't know, like a month, Kat. When's the last time he showed up to work? Mackey, I mean, we had to literally do a film at his house, and he refused to answer the phone when Gutfeld called. So apparently, he's on tour. The Gutfeld show to springboard his acting career or whatever he does. He's a comedian, right? Yeah, he's a comedian. So he's pretty much doing that, and he's stealing a lot of my stuff. I noticed that he starts bragging about lifting weights and stuff, and I'm not really appreciative of that. And I heard a rumor that he's even thinking about getting into wrestling. So.
Oh, well, I mean,
Joe Mackey, all serious. He's one of the guests or he's a part of our team, but whenever he's on, I will generally be laughing. Like, I find him hilarious. His jokes, his facial expressions are just, they're one of a kind. Like, I think he's on a rocket ship.
Well, we loved having him on, and we love you having him, you coming here with us. And I want to encourage people. Are you guys recording your podcast right now? Is that what you're doing?
Literally, we are. We were short on content, so we just figured we'd record you talking to me.
I should have brought my A game. Tyrus and Tiff is the podcast.
Be a scathing email. Tiff is taking notes. She is a journalist.
Fair enough. What's the best place for people to get Tyrus and Tiff and subscribe to the podcast?
Apple Podcast, FoxNewsPodcast.com, Spotify.
Yeah, I just looked it up on Spotify.
Anywhere you guys download podcasts, subscribe and rate. 5 stars. Don't even be funny.
5 stars.
Yeah. And it was riveting stuff. We're never afraid. And, that's what we do.
Well, it's definitely worth a subscription. I encourage people to go subscribe. Just flood the Tyrus and Tim podcast right now with new subscriptions, and be sure to spend the time to rate that 5 stars, because it is a 5-star podcast. Tyrus, we love having you on. Tell Kat and Devin and the whole crew there hello for us, and we look forward to talking to you again next week. Oh, well, hello, everybody. Hi, St. Louis can hear you as well. Tyrus, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
There'll be an extra fee this week for their appearances, so you know.
It'll be a big one, I'm sure. We're ready. We're prepared.
Extra large bag of peanut M&Ms, please.
Fair. All right, we'll do it. Talk to you soon, Tyrus. Thank you so much. He is on Gutfeld. He is a Fox News contributor, and his book, Just Tyrus, a memoir. Go check that book out. Brad, you finished the book?
I have not finished it yet. I kind of had to take a pause because there's some life stuff that has happened, but it's still sitting on my end table, and I'm
your review halfway through.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing! It's
quite a unique life.
Yes, a completely unique life, and it reads like Tyrus is telling you the story, which is really good.
It's probably helpful to know his voice and have his personality down from him being on this show for years. He is, if not our longest regular guest. I've always been kind of opposed to regular guest slots for people. Previously, we don't do that as much as some other shows will do that, just specifically because I like to be able to flow with the day. It makes it a little harder for like Brad to do his job, but it's definitely been great to watch Tyrus grow and for him to stick with us the whole time. So
yeah, it's awesome.
The book you can get, Just Tyrus, a memoir. And seriously, like, I don't care if you even listen to the podcast. Go subscribe to it and rate it 5 stars.
I just subscribed.
Yeah, do it and rate it, and show the Annie Frey show some love by showing Tyrus and Tim some love. We're going to take a quick break. Hans von Spakovsky is going to be with us here when we come back, and we're going to talk about the SCOTUS slate. We've had several rulings come down so far, and there is still at least one big one that we anticipate. When? I don't know. I'm going to ask about that Roe v. Wade case that is such a big deal that there are people camped out of Brett Kavanaugh's house trying to kill him. I mean, it's unbelievable. This is mind-blowing stuff in a world where I thought we were past the idea of mind-blowing, because you should just anticipate everything crazy happening at any time. Hans von Spakovsky and the Heritage Foundation in a minute. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
1,000 other boys could never reach you.
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
I saw the world spin beneath you and scatter like ice from the spoon that was your world.
97.1 FM Talk. Uncensored discussion that's free in more ways than one. This is where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Right here, right now.
Individual results may vary. There's no guarantee that past performance will be indicative of future results. Invest wisely.
Paid for by Chaikin Analytics. Mark Chaikin is someone you're supposed to hate. He spent 50 years on Wall Street helping to create the entire stock rating system. He's met everyone from Jim Cramer to Martha Stewart. And today, he's sharing an urgent warning to tell anyone who will listen. A very strange day is coming to America. In short, a massive and surprising new transition could determine the next group of millionaires, while leaving 99% of the public even worse off than before, says Chaikin. If you want to be on the right side of the huge new shift that he predicts is coming to the market, you absolutely must consider buying one particular type of investment now, before it's too late, he says. To give you the full story, he posted the biggest prediction of his 50-year career online at stockmarketwarning.com/radio, along with the name and ticker symbol of the #1 investment to buy right now. Go to stockmarketwarning.com/radio to learn more, free of charge. stockmarketwarning.com/radio.
Diabetic neuropathy, cold feet, resting leg pain, foot wounds that don't heal. These are classic signs of peripheral artery disease, or PAD. Left untreated, PAD can lead to gangrene and even lower limb amputation. Modern Vascular is a healthcare leader in the outpatient treatment of PAD. Last year, over 10,000 patients across the country chose Modern Vascular for the diagnosis and treatment of their PAD. Modern Vascular clinics consistently receive high Google review ratings and have received over 500 five-star patient reviews in the last 12 months. In fact, Modern Vascular has been recognized as the best PAD treatment specialist in the country. If you or someone you love is experiencing the symptoms of PAD, don't ignore it. Visit modernvascular.com today or call 844-4PAD-HELP to schedule a consultation in our local clinic. That's 844-4PAD-HELP.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25rhino.com.
It's time to play Trump or Consequences. Ready, Jill?
Let's go.
Thinking about Mary Miller and Rodney Davis in the race for Congress, who did President Donald Trump praise for fighting Joe Biden's, quote, runaway inflation?
Mary Miller, gotta be. Miller knows Biden is out of control.
Right, Jill. Next, who did Trump endorse for Congress?
Mary Miller. I know Trump backs Miller.
Correct. Miller has Trump's complete and total endorsement. Last question. Who is one of the very few Republicans in Congress to actually praise Joe Biden?
Who did that?
Rodney Davis.
So why would a Republican back Davis?
Good question. Because if you stand with Trump, Mary Miller is the right answer for Congress. Paid for by Club for Growth Action, clubforgrowthaction.org, and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Club for Growth Action is responsible for the content of this advertising.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Change in my pocket wasn't enough. I'm like, forget you and forget her too. Said if I was richer, I'd still be richer. But ain't that some shit? And although that's pain in my chest, I still wish you the best. So God, forget you.
But Kate, this certainly contributes to this overall threat landscape we've been talking a lot about. The major concern here with this abortion ruling from federal officials, and they've been sounding the alarm on this for about a month, is that Supreme Court justices will certainly be, potentially targeted by violent extremists who are angered over this pending ruling that is poised to strike down Roe v. Wade. This is an extremely passionate issue. There are emotions on both sides. Federal officials have made clear over and over they believe the risk truly comes from both sides of this abortion debate.
So CNN is talking about the pending threat that is obvious to anybody who's paying attention to the news right now for these Supreme Court justices in the wake of this Roe v. Wade ruling. Now, we've had a leak of a document, a ruling, I suppose, that was not a completed, not a finished, not a final, but I think it was written in pending like February or something. So could be differences in what the Supreme Court ends up coming out with when they issue their ruling. When is this going to happen? If we don't know when it's going to happen, how much time do we have between when we're going to get that ruling and what is going to happen in our community after that takes place? Let's talk to our friend Hans von Spakovsky, Senior Legal Fellow at the Heritage Foundation, also a DOJ lawyer. Hans, welcome back to the show. Always a pleasure to have you on with us.
Well, sure. Thanks for having me on. But I got to say that CNN comment that federal officials say the threats of violence coming from both sides, that is complete nonsense. And it shows, unfortunately, if true, just how partisan the federal law enforcement has become. The only violence, the only protests we are seeing is coming from the progressive left. There are protests at the homes of Supreme Court justices, the conservatives. Yesterday, as you know, they arrested a man with a gun and burglar tools close to the house of Justice Kavanaugh, and they're refusing to do anything about it. Marilyn Garland, the Attorney General, the FBI, there's a federal law that prevents you from trying to intimidate and pressure a judge by protesting at their home, yet they won't do anything about it. If there is violence, they're going to be the ones that are going to be blamed for it.
Is this unprecedented in our country's history?
Yes, I have never seen anything like this. And look, the worst part of it is, too, it's not just that the Attorney General, the FBI refused to do anything about it, but you know that the Biden White House has refused to condemn this behavior. They were specifically asked about it, and they weren't willing to say anything about it. So they are helping to incite this kind of terrible behavior. And Annie, look, think about the opposite. You and I both know this is true. If liberals controlled the Supreme Court and they were about to issue a gun decision that basically wiped out the Second Amendment, and that draft opinion was released, and folks from the NRA and others showed up at the homes of liberal justices protesting, using bullhorns, engaging in vulgarity, all the things that's currently going on for these abortion protests. You and I both know what would happen to them. They would immediately be arrested by the FBI and prosecuted by the Garland Justice Department.
Yeah. And a political example would be made out of them at least through the next election. That seems to me to be the most shocking part of this right now. It doesn't really surprise me that there was somebody approaching the Kavanaugh home, because if you listen to the rhetoric, we've been leading to this moment. What is surprising that a president who was inaugurated delivering a speech that is talking about unity has not had the time or the inclination yet to come out and say, we don't do this.
No, that is exactly right. And look, if you want another example of the unfortunate, partisanship of the U.S. Justice Department, the way it's been weaponized. I'm sure you saw that just this past week, Peter Navarro, who was the trade representative and a domestic policy advisor to President Trump, was arrested at the airport, shackled, put in chains by the FBI because he'd been found in contempt of Congress by the January 6th committee, because he said, look, I can't answer your questions because President Trump has claimed executive privilege, which is a recognized doctrine, over all of my communications with him. Now, look at what the FBI and DOJ do. They arrest this guy at the airport on this contempt charge, yet when Eric Holder was held in contempt of Congress for doing the same thing, claiming executive privilege, refusing to answer any questions about Operation Fast and Furious, guess what the Justice Department did? They refused to enforce the contempt citation. Or similarly, remember Lois Lerner?
Yes,
the IRS official who was targeting conservative organizations. She was found in contempt of Congress for refusing to answer questions, and the Justice Department refused to enforce it against her. So Eric Holder, Lois Lerner, they have no problems, but Peter Navarro is arrested at the airport and shackled and chained for exactly the same kind of violation. I mean, it is just appalling what's going on at the FBI and the Justice Department.
Hans von Spakovsky with us right now at the Heritage Foundation. You're a DOJ lawyer. Is there a two-tier justice system in America today?
Well, there certainly is under Merrick Garland, and you can see it in operation constantly with these kind of things happening throughout our legal life. I mean, look, another example of it that we've all seen is how harsh the January 6th protesters and people who, they engaged in criminal trespass into Congress have been treated. Compare that to the arsonists and violent protesters of BLM and Antifa, who basically the feds did nothing about.
Yeah. I think that is one of the biggest concerns of Americans today, is that the justice system does not apply to certain people. I want to ask you about the Roe v. Wade ruling. We haven't had that released yet in its complete nature. We've had the leak. Talk to me about what the leak was. I think that was from February. Was that when that was written? Yes. To where we are now and how long it might take before America gets this actual ruling released?
Well, the Supreme Court ends its term at the end of this month. So sometime between today and the end of June, we are going to get the written opinion released. We have no idea when that will be. The February leak was of a draft opinion. Okay, so what happens at the Supreme Court is when justices are writing different opinions, once they put a draft together, they circulate it to the other justices. And the reason they do that is so that other justices, if they want to, can decide whether to sign on with that opinion. And the justices who don't agree with that opinion, the ones who are going to dissent, they have that draft so they can use it to shape the dissenting opinion that they're written. And so that's why that happens. What we don't know is how much of that opinion, assuming it is the majority opinion, how much is it going to change from what we saw in February to what we get probably the last day in June. That's when I would bet they release it. We don't know how much it'll change, but all we know is sometime between now and the end of June.
Man. That you said we assume it's the majority opinion. Is there anything in the leak that indicates that it is the majority opinion?
Well, yeah, it seems to be. Yes, I think most people are assuming correctly it's the majority opinion. And the fact that it was leaked tells you it was the majority opinion, because the only reason for this leak was from, I'm sure, a law clerk, a very liberal law clerk for one of the liberal justices who is so upset over this that he or she decided to leak it to do exactly what has happened: raise public hysteria, raise threats against the justices to try to intimidate and coerce them. frankly, I don't understand what is taking them so long to investigate and find out who did this. That person needs to be immediately fired from the Supreme Court and, frankly, disbarred with whatever state's bar association he or she is a member of.
Is there any likelihood? I assume there's a possibility that if it was a 5-4 majority, I don't know if we knew that from the leak, that any of those justices between February and the end of June, that they could change their mind?
Yeah, it's possible, but I actually think that the leaker. I think what the leaker did is going to have the opposite effect. I think the initial justices on the conservative side who signed up with the majority, I think it probably makes them mad what's happening, and it probably solidifies them into the majority. And I don't think they want to change their vote because that will inevitably probably come out. And then they're really going to look bad if they allowed this kind of pressure and intimidation to change their vote.
Man, it's really something. And I'm thinking about this threat to the Kavanaugh household.
Yeah.
And I've seen justices release statements about things maybe in response to, wasn't there some like mask scuffle or something like that previously, and they cleared the record. But is it part of the process? Can the justices, especially the liberal-leaning justices, if the president of the United States is not going to speak on this, wouldn't it be in the interest of the justices to stand up together and collectively say this is unacceptable, this kind of behavior?
You are absolutely right. It tells you great minds think alike. I frankly was talking to somebody just privately just a couple of days ago, saying exactly that I think it would be a wonderful idea, and I don't understand why it hasn't already happened, that a statement would issue from the court signed by all 9 justices saying this kind of behavior, no matter what you think about this particular legal issue, is simply unacceptable. And I think that ought to happen, and I'm unfortunately disappointed that it hasn't already happened.
Yeah, I got to say the same thing. So you think that your anticipation is the last day? That's the Hans prediction. I'm on vacation that day. No, it doesn't work for me. Can you tell them that? That needs to be earlier than that?
Well, I think they ought to actually. I think they ought to release it earlier. But look, what happens when they close shop at the Supreme Court is most of the justices, they leave town. They go on vacation. Some of them go to Europe where they've been asked to teach at law schools over there and stuff. So I think they like being out of town when something particularly controversial comes down. So I do think we're probably not going to get to the last day. But hey, I could be surprised.
Well, if you're Brett Kavanaugh, I can absolutely understand why you'd want to skip town. I would too. I'd be wanting to get my family far away from there. Hans, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We always appreciate your conversation.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll do it again. Hans von Spakovsky, Senior Legal Fellow at the Heritage Foundation, the DOJ lawyer and former FEC commissioner. He also has a book, For Our Broken Elections, How the Left Changed the Way You Vote. It is out now. You can get it. You can go tell him on Twitter. Thanks for being on the show at H. von Spakovsky. And Tyrus, too, who we just spoke to at Planet Tyrus. And Joe Concha. If you didn't hear the Joe Concha interview, oh my gosh, man, that guy was worked up, right?
Just on fire.
Yes. There were lots of words at the end. I was wondering if he was going to pass out. It's just, he got it all out.
Breathe, Joe. Breathe.
But I mean, we feel that.
Oh, yeah.
It is the way Americans feel right now. And Joe Concha, let us have it. All right. A couple pieces of business here before we take a break. At 2:05, Wiggins America. We've moved it from 12:45 to 2:05 while Ryan Wiggins is on vacation. And we have a very special in-studio guest to fill in Ryan Wiggins' spot. And when we come back from this segment, I'm going to tell you who it is. I know there's some people who are itching to find out. Ryan Wiggins himself might be one of those people. I'm going to tell you who the 2:05 guest host of Wiggins America is when we come back. And I want to go encourage you to go vote in our poll on the Anti-Frey YouTube live chat. Will you watch any of the January 6 hearings? Are you going to watch it live? You're going to watch the highlights afterwards? Whatever we cover on Friday? Or no way? Your vote right there on the Anti-Frey YouTube channel in the live chat. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Trying to keep you, trying to please you. Being a lover, trying to keep now. I can picture the fool.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Dr. Sapphire. Every single patient not only responded to it, but they completely responded. Now, of course, small study needs to be done on a larger scale. Some of them have had 2 years follow-up, and it hasn't come back.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hi, this is Tracy again. And I don't know about you, but in many ways, the pandemic has acted like a microwave oven in my world, accelerating work trends that would have taken years to adopt. Remote work is one of those trends, and it's here to stay. If you thought securing your network was hard before, it's even harder now, and here's why. In the olden days, a few short years ago, your staff was behind a firewall securing access to data. Today, that staff is now working somewhere else, and your firewall no longer protects them. You have a VPN, you say? Great. They or their family surf the web outside the VPN. When they do connect the next morning, they potentially expose the corporate network to whatever they clicked on when they weren't connected. At Acropolis, Helios Web Security is our answer for the managed clients that need it. Our tools run on your users' devices and act as a proxy, checking every website against known bad ones and blocks them. It is one more layer helping protect your company from accidental exposure to bad actors. Security starts with a conversation. Let's start that conversation today by visiting us on the web at acropolistech.com. That's acropolistech.com. Protect, optimize, grow. We are Acropolis Technology Group.
Sonic Slam 2022, starring Cinderella's Tom Keeper with LA Guns and Faster Pussycat. Friday, June 17th, 7 p.m., the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster. Sonic Slam.
Warrant Cherry Pie 30th Anniversary Tour. And they're bringing some friends on the bus. Also starring Winger and Lita Ford. Friday, September 30th, the Family Arena. Tickets are on sale now. Available at the Carroll House box office located at the Family Arena or through Ticketmaster. Warrant, Winger, and Lita Ford together live.
Donate your car to Goodwill and get 4 free tickets to Six Flags. Ride the greats like the Screaming Eagle or hang out at Hurricane Harbor. Donating a car to Goodwill is easy. Towing is free, and you'll get a tax receipt. For more information or to donate online, visit mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Six Flags. Hurry while supplies last. Give hope. Give local. Give Goodwill.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
$100 can make a huge impact on a family facing homelessness. You can be a part of an exciting opportunity at the Care Service to help raise $1.5 million to provide affordable housing in our area. Please donate to our Making Room Housing campaign at jacares.org by June 19th.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get your HVAC system ready for summer with a cooling system check included with all maintenance plans from Air Comfort Service. Maintenance plans start at $15 per month. To get into your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Information to keep you moving. Dependable traffic, mornings and afternoons with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
No common ground to start from, and we're falling apart. You'll say.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We appreciate you being here. A reminder, you can stream the show anywhere you go on the Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app, AUDACY. That's how you find it. And just favorite 97.1 FM Talk. You can listen to the whole station, or you can just listen to the Annie Frey Show. But we encourage you to listen to all of our friends here on the station all day. You can even rewind back 24 hours. It's kind of weird. You can rewind radio. I guess it's kind of about time when you think about it. I didn't tell the story on the air yet. Last weekend, we were at a baseball tournament, and so I'm a baseball mom. I got a 12-year-old who plays baseball. I've talked about this before. And I have to contain myself when I'm at a baseball game. And basically, the way I sum it up is not embarrass the family, which is not always easy. Because I just like I'm so invested in the hard work that the kids put in. It's not about the other team. It's just about our boys and the work they put in. My husband's the head coach, so the work that he puts in, and the other head coaches, they've been coaching together for years now. And you just you want to see something good happen. I was watching the Cardinals game last night.
Mm-hmm.
TJ McFarland didn't know how many outs there were.
Oh, he said fire truck.
Huh? Oh. Well, I think it's important for kids to, does TJ McFarland's egregious mistake in the game last night, that doesn't happen very much in Major League Baseball.
No.
But it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So you're watching a 12U select baseball team, and I use that loosely because everything is select. And if everything's select, nothing is select. But our boys, we have a great group of boys and a great group of parents.
Mm-hmm.
That is priceless.
That's all you can ask for.
You cannot put a value on it. It is absolutely priceless. So we're cheering, and we're in this tournament. This tournament is a hair above our pay grade, but we wanted to compete. We wanted to go see some competition and see what we could do. And we're playing this one team, and they were from Chesterfield, I believe. And I'm sitting, our base was the third base line. And I'm sitting there next to my mother-in-law, who is keeping Game Changer. And if you don't know what Game Changer is, you don't keep a book in baseball anymore. It's all on an app. So, which is pretty cool because you can follow along with the game, even if you're not at the game. And they even live stream the games. So I'm sitting there, and my mother-in-law realizes the other team's out of order in their lineup. So we managed to get the benefit of that, so on and so forth. Like 2 or 3 innings later, the other team is up to bat, and the third base coach is standing in the third base box. And he had kind of talked to us a couple times previous. We asked him where they were from and whatever. And he came up and he goes, "I recognize the voice. I listen to you every day." And I was momentarily mortified because I'm thinking about my job here on the radio to talk about and do what I say every day. And that my voice was so loud and obnoxious at the baseball field that the third base coach was like, "Hey, I listen to your show every day. I can recognize your voice." And I'm wondering if now all I can think about is when I'm cheering for my son's team, do I sound like Gilbert Gottfried? Because I'm yelling.
You don't sound like Gilbert Gottfried.
When my voice is raised, I think I do.
No, it's not. It's nowhere near.
It's in my
harsh
head.
enough.
It's funny though. But it was very nice of him to come up and say that. And they had a good team, and we lost that game. But it was interesting to be sitting there because if I'm sitting on the sideline in a baseball field, I am not thinking. I'm getting better at it. I'm not thinking about, I wonder how many people here know me. Like, I wonder if people are like, "That's Annie Frey," because they hear my voice. I need to think more about that and make sure that going back to my first point, do not embarrass the family. So then the next morning, we stayed out in Chesterfield, and we stayed at the Residence Inn by Marriott St. Louis, Chesterfield, which was an absolutely beautiful hotel. Wonderful hotel experience, great night's sleep. It being from Illinois saved us because we had we had an 8 p.m. game Friday night. We had a 5 p.m. game Saturday night that got back. I think we started almost, 45 minutes later. So, but then we had an 8 a.m. game the next morning in Ellisville. So it was a good idea and fun to stay at this hotel. And they had a delicious breakfast. And I'm standing there with my son and I'm trying to make like 4 breakfasts for everybody so that I can get them all taken care of. And I'm in the breakfast area and I hear, "Are you eating fry?" And I turn around, I'm like, "Yes, I am." And it was Erica from the chat.
Like the Erica that we've been missing?
Yes. She got a new job.
Oh, yeah?
And she listens to us on the podcast.
Okay.
And she was, I didn't realize in that moment which Erica it was. I thought she was a different Erica.
Uh-huh.
And then she messaged me later while I was at the game. And she's like, "Hey, just wanted to tell you it was cool to see you at the hotel." Apparently, her boss, the manager of the hotel, listens to the show all the time and was like super excited that we were staying there and loves the show. And Erica was talking about how she was involved in the chat and everything. And she wanted to let us know that she still listens to the show, but her hours and schedule are different. And I told her, I said, like, to the people who join us on the YouTube and the Facebook live streams, we know your names.
Mhm.
And when we don't see you for a while, we were just, within the last week or so,
Oh, yeah.
we're like, "Where is Erica? I hope she's okay."
Yeah.
Well, she's great. And
Good.
she's working at the Residence Inn. And like I said, I got nothing. I paid the same rate that everybody else paid. This is not any sort of paid endorsement. It just was a really great hotel, a really great experience. And the manager just so happened to be a fan of the show. I just thought that was really cool.
That's super cool. And I'm glad she's okay because,
Yeah.
like, she was one of those ones that we had to work to win over.
Yeah, I don't know what her previous, I can't remember. I think she might have told me, but her previous job, I remember saying, like, "If you don't like the show, just turn it off." And she says, "I can't. My boss makes us listen to it." And I'm like, "Well, tell your boss thank you for listening to the show. I'm glad he likes it." And he's like, "No, he hates your show too." And I'm like, "I don't really understand this, but thank you for being here. And I'm sorry that it's not all agreeable," because I don't think that she is conservative. She might be moderate or libertarian on some issues, but we enjoy her company. And if you're listening today to the podcast, which you can get on the Odyssey app or Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get podcasts from, Erica, thank you for listening. Hello, and tell your boss we said thank you as well.
You said you were going to tease the Wiggins America host.
Steve Moore, Ryan Wiggins' boss, is in the studio next to do Wiggins America. And I'm so ready for this. Do not go away.
Looking to sell your house without all the hassle and pricey repair costs? Great! Because Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis loves buying fix-up homes in any condition, as is, no fees and no commissions. Call 314-782-8000, and Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis will give you a cash offer right now. No strings attached. We buy inherited houses, divorce houses, trashed houses, even those my tenant won't pay rent houses. Call Chris at 314-782-8000 and find out how easy it is to work with us. That's 314-782-8000. Do you think your home will be difficult to sell? Easy. Our team will provide you with personal guidance through our short and simple process to turn your house into a pile of gold. Just call Chris at 314-782-8000. 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And let Chris worry about everything.
If your business has accounting problems, you probably have tax problems. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Running a small business is tough, and it's no surprise that companies that don't keep good books often run into tax issues. If you don't fix your accounting problems, you could be doomed to land in the same tax pitfalls every year. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I can help you get out of tax trouble and stay out. If your small business doesn't have a CPA or accountant, I can help you find one. And if you already have one, I work closely with them to resolve your tax problems quickly. Make no mistake, if the numbers don't add up, the IRS will catch it. Fix your accounting and tax problems before they snowball with help from the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, St. Louis, it's Michael Mohan with Community Mortgage. The real estate market is as hot as the center of a freshly cooked toasted ravioli, making this a great time to use the equity in your home for a cash-out refinance, to upgrade your outdated kitchen, or consolidate your high-interest credit card debt, saving hundreds each month. If you're in the market to purchase a new home, don't trust your loan to an out-of-state call center or online lender. Call me. Call Michael Mohan at 314-336-6050. I want to save you money on your home purchase, refinance, or debt consolidation, and put my 20 years of local loan experience to work for you. When you call, you'll speak to me, and I will tailor a loan to fit your needs. So call 314-336-6050, 314-336-6050, or online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, 224-143, NMLS 250353.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
Summer school security. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Just over 2 weeks since the mass shooting at a Texas elementary school, the school superintendent, in Uvalde, says law enforcement officers have been added to each campus for summer school, and their goal is to hire more for the new school year.
We're in the process of developing a list of actions we can take to strengthen security on all of our campuses.
Superintendent Hal Harrell also reiterating that no students or staff will return to Robb Elementary, where 19 children and 2 teachers were killed, but discussions will continue on the future of that site. In Alabama, someone described as a potential intruder has been shot and killed at a school holding a summer literacy program. Officials in Gadsden, northeast of Birmingham, say the person went to several doors trying to get into Walnut Park Elementary, but had an altercation with a school resource officer who called for backup. No word yet on the identity of the person killed, whether they were armed or why they wanted entry. No students were hurt. President Biden says he's optimistic about the future because of a new generation.
The best educated, they're the most generous, they're the people who have done the most, they're ready to volunteer, and they're the least prejudiced folks in the world.
He's at the Summit of the Americas in LA, where he's expected to unveil a declaration this week pledging regional cooperation on issues including migration. Republicans say Democrats are ignoring what's affecting the American people, including record gas prices, ahead of tonight's primetime hearing on the Capitol riot investigation.
The violence at the Capitol that day was wrong, and we have repeatedly denounced it. But keeping the Capitol safe is not the point of Pelosi's illegitimate select committee.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy calls it a smokescreen for a radical agenda, the committee focusing in part on the run-up to the riot, as then President Trump challenged the election results. America is listening to Fox News.
I tend to second-guess dinners with friends because they're often interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit Creon.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREON.com.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Sunny skies, nice temperatures, nice humidity. It's a beautiful afternoon for any plans you may have. Maybe get out of work early, 78 for the high. Tonight, clouds take over, but the evening is dry. Couple of showers after 3 in the morning, 62 Friday. Scattered showers, couple of thunderstorms, though not a lot of rain, but it's kind of a gloomy, cool day on Friday, 70. The weekend continues to look great. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Decision 2022 is happening. Are you ready to decide? The Illinois governor primary is June 28th. The Missouri Senate primary is August 2nd. Make your voice heard. The primary candidates are here because they want to talk to you.
It's time for Eric to get out of the Senate race.
This was a George Soros-funded prosecutor in Kim Gardner.
It's a 50-50 Senate. It's all on the line.
Decision 2022. Coverage sponsored by Air Comfort Service and TR Hughes Homes.
There's a big red barn where you say free. Norm's Bargain Barn. Discount windows, doors, and things. Norm's Bargain Barn.
Hi, I'm Norm Wilkie. Come see my new selection of Amish cabinetry made by my good Amish friends at Countrywood Products. We now stock 5 styles of cabinetry for you to choose from.
When you need to save on discount windows, doors, and cabinetry, come to Norm's Bargain Barn with locations in Shiloh and Fenton at the bottom of Gravois Bluffs. Visit normsbargainbarn.com.
That's normsbargainbarn.com.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Pineview Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Pineview Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now. 314-530-7777.
Would you like a cleaning product that can be used in the garage, the laundry, and the kitchen, and save space in your cabinet? Hi, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green. To learn more, visit us at simplegreen.com.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
You can ask your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk and stay connected to everything happening in the world, the country, and the community. It's all through the new Odyssey app. 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. So we have promoted this heavily, and I know your expectations are incredibly high, mostly because Ryan Wiggins is on vacation, so they just elevate from there. And
wow.
So we moved Wiggins America from 12:45 to 2:05 to give it more time while he's not in studio. And we have a special guest today. Let's hit it. Wiggins America, you ready for this?
Wiggins! Oh!
Wiggins! So Steve Moore, Director of Operations. Is that your title this week?
That'll work.
That'll work. King?
I know. I don't want to be the king.
King? You get to make lots of just carte blanche decisions that way.
Being the king sucks.
Who do you want to be? The jester?
I actually wouldn't mind being the jester, but Ryan already owns that job.
That's true. Well, that's why you're here.
I can't wait. I'm excited about this.
All right. Well, you know how this goes. Normally, Ryan Wiggins is in here and he brings in a topic and throws it out at us, and we discuss it or argue about it. So your topic today, I don't even know what you're going to talk about. So
I decided to do something a little bit different. These are things that make me say,
Okay.
Okay.
Oh boy.
And I thought about each
of you. Are these personal about us?
No.
Is this a job review?
No, it's not a job review. So you guys are baseball fans. So I kind of picked up, this is a layup just to kick things off.
Fantastic.
Last night, the Cardinals got their ass handed to them a bit.
Yeah, he's the
And
boss, guys. You can
I
say
can say
whatever you
anything I want. And Yadier Molina pitched a full inning.
Mhm.
That's the third outing between Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols. And man, the post-game show is excited about it. ESPN picked it up again. They're excited about it. We ran sound about it. Is anybody concerned that these two guys have 3 outings this season so far?
One of them was when we were kicking butt, though.
That's true.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That was Pujols. I think
it was both of them, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, because
they shouldn't have 3 outings. They didn't have any in their combined 40 years in the league.
Also, on the same day that the St. Louis Cardinals, they totally gave that game away in a very embarrassing fashion. Like TJ McFarland didn't let a ball leave the infield, and he forgot how many outs there were. And folks, it was his birthday.
Oh man,
happy birthday!
I'm gonna never want to think of my birthday again after that.
I was talking about last night's game a little earlier, and I referred to him as Seth MacFarlane. That's how the performance was rolling.
It was very cartoonish.
So that's something that makes me say,
Okay.
Another thing that makes me say, Have you noticed that every highway around St. Louis and Illinois is under construction at the moment?
Yes, it's impossible.
It is.
Do we thank Joe for that? I don't know, but I will say this:
yes,
we do not.
Joe is involved in it, but it's not really like gratitude.
But I just want to say this to both MoDOT and IDOT. Before we fix the roads, maybe we could fix the potholes. We haven't patched a pothole this year yet.
How hard is it to patch a pothole?
Well, I don't know.
It's not.
Brad?
It's not. They
just dump asphalt in it and flatten it.
Well, they drive up, but they usually use cold patch, which is like cold asphalt.
Cold patch. Trisha, you know cold patch.
But they drive
That's
up.
a hell of a band. I saw them.
Cold patch.
They were at Point Fest.
But yeah, they just dump the cold patch in the hole and they tamp it down and move on to the next one. It's
It's going to take a long time because there's a lot of next ones.
I feel like 64 from my house to here is like one big long pothole.
Oh, it's a mess.
By the time they finish the stretch, they have to start at the beginning of where they started because it's a year later and nothing is fixed.
Well, downtown roads are always a mess, and they're always blowing them open, going down, sucking things out of it. I don't know what they're. I just was outside and there's a machine sucking something out from underneath there, so that's not good. But then they'll close it and they put little like silver plates over the top of it, and they move down. And they start the process all over again, and they just keep going in circles. And eventually, I guess the whole place will just be silver plates all over the
metal
place.
roads.
Metal roads.
Trisha, you're an Illinois to Missouri commuter. Is it worse for you? You do 64, right?
I do. Yeah, and then I take the Eads Bridge, so I'm on 64 part of the time. It's pretty terrible the whole time. It's not terrible.
Equally crappy.
Yeah, it's just bad across the board, and it's really bad if you take 255. So do you take 255 at all?
Yeah.
So
I 255 to 5570.
One of the ways, and I don't know my directions, but one of the ways, it's just like thump, 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 thump the whole time. The whole time. So it's a mess on both sides.
What you take the same path?
I take 64, but I use the stand span. But yeah.
They were just doing construction a couple weeks ago there.
Yeah. And I'm like, so they're like doing inspections. I'm like, why are we doing inspections during rush hour? Because then I go home and they're all cleaned up and done. It's like, wait till like 10 o'clock, do your inspection, and then be done by 4, and nobody's traffic is messed up.
If you were king, you could make those decisions.
If I were president, I could make those decisions.
Are you up for the job?
I'm always
have
up
a
for
vacancy.
Is there going to be a vacancy?
Seems like, wait, this is better.
Breaking news.
Every other week, we run a poll that says, is President Biden going to finish his term? And it's progressively moving in the direction of, no, he's not.
Well, based on Kimmel last night, he does not have a future in late night television.
Oh, neither does Kimmel, I guess.
All right. So that's something that makes me say, Here's another one that makes me say, Now, I will tell you this. This is clearly a first world problem. I get it. So AAA reported that gas prices have rose for the 10th day in a row. Gas prices on the streets right now average about $4.96 across the country. I have a place at the lake. I have a boat on the lake. Gas prices today on the lake, unlimited, not unlimited, because I can't afford unlimited. Unleaded gas, $5.19.
Ooh, in Missouri.
Premium gas, $6.45 a gallon.
Man.
So
is lake gas generally higher?
Lake gas is generally higher. If you can't find a way to get your boat out of the water, they have you held hostage.
So you said that unlimited was how high?
Unlimited,
5.15?
unleaded. Yeah, I just did it to you too. Unleaded is $5.19 a gallon.
The gas station by my house for unleaded is $5.15 in Illinois.
Well, that's why I always see you on Facebook taking pictures of yourself in Missouri.
I have a video from this morning at the gas station downtown, and my Pacifica, folks, this is a minivan. It clicked off at $74. It wouldn't. I couldn't fill my minivan gas tank, which is an 18 gallon tank. It's unbelievable.
Oh, it's bad.
So again, it's a first world problem. But a boat might have a gas tank or two that could have as many as 100 gallons in it. And a boat gets about 1 mile to the gallon.
Well, you just need to get someone to paddle behind it.
It takes $300 to get to the gas station and then $300 to get home from the gas
station. Are people
station.
using the lake less?
I have a friend who owns a gas station on the lake who said that they are definitely down in sales this year. So less people are using it. Now, I've talked to people that are business owners down there, and they'll tell you that the hotels are full and that the entertainment areas are full. So people, I think, are still going to the lake, but I think that they're choosing to sit on their dock or stay out of the water.
I would bet that people are going to the lake because they're not going to the Bahamas and they're not going to California or wherever else they go. It's still a great getaway place. And if you can go to Central Missouri and experience a great vacation there and save the money to drive to Florida or whatever it is, I bet that they're benefiting in some way, shape, or form from that.
And I think you'll see if gas prices on the highways stay high, what that will do to home prices, because a lot of those homes are obviously second homes, condos, whatever. So I think you'll probably start to see that market softening a bit, even though there's a casino that's getting ready to be built down there, a new entertainment district that's getting ready to build. There's a lot of construction planned for that area. I think they thought this was going to be the big explosion, but inflation might greatly affect that.
Balls on YouTube says, I don't know if you're familiar with Balls, Steve. But,
I don't even want to answer the question. I can answer it two ways, and neither one of them really work out that great for
if
me.
you were Ryan Wiggins, you would dive headfirst into that comment. 525 off the highway in my town. He lives in Illinois. Vicky says that her minivan is at $75 also, and it's $460 in St. Charles. G Wibs on YouTube says Illinois is always $1 higher than the wholesale price of gas. It's $4.27 now, so it's going to go up more. I mean, we're like you said, it's gone up every day. I was buying like half a tank and just kind of trying to keep above a quarter tank and fill it up a half tank and go. And it's if you're doing that to save money, you're not saving money.
No, you still have to use the gas. Like you're just tricking yourself to make yourself feel better.
And it's not going the other direction. How high can it go? I mean, I find out.
In Europe, it's $7, $8. The crossover would be $7 or $8 more.
And it's per liter usually.
Have we thought in our head that like once it gets to $5, like I think I had this ignorant false sense of security, like, well, $5 is the max. Oh my gosh, no, it's $9. It's like almost $10 in California in some places.
I have a question for Brad. How much is a liter? Like how many gallons in a liter? Or how many liters in a gallon?
A liter, was it like 4?
This is not the time to question it. You threw it out there like you knew the answer.
It's in liters. It's a liter smaller.
1 liter is equal to it's a fourth of a gallon. So yeah, he was right. Ding, ding, ding.
All right. One more thing that
You're
makes
still
me
employed, Brad. Well done.
Congratulations. Okay. So I'm tossing to you because I want your feeling about this. I'm a hiring manager, so getting people to apply for jobs is important. Unless, of course, you're trying to hire for a sports position, that's not a problem. I have hundreds of applications for that. You can stop sending them in.
Okay.
But if you're interested in being a news
unless
person,
you're really good at it.
Yes, unless you're really good at it.
And you're just have nothing to do at 2:15 on a Thursday and you're listening to the show.
$390,000 jobs were added in May. Okay. That was the report a couple of days ago. The unemployment rate's 3.6. which is a half-century low recorded since February of 2020, since the pandemic hit. Yet I can't get any applications for part-time help, full-time news anchors, full-time producers. I mean, we're talking in weeks, we've had a total of 23 semi-qualified people for these jobs.
Wow.
Where are the people?
So isn't the 3.6 unemployment, or is that unemployment rate?
Yes.
Doesn't that not count people who are not employed but not seeking employment?
That's correct.
That's what we're talking about here, right?
Right.
Because if you have, I mean, clearly you can't have Taco Bell on their knees begging for people to come run a register for them for $17 an hour in some places and have 3.6% unemployment and make that make sense without understanding that there is a whole host of people who have just decided, I do not need to work.
So I wanted to actually know where the people are or were.
Because he wants to find
I was going to say,
and make them
I need
specific.
home addresses.
And I decided to do some research. So I drove through Forest Park. They're at the park.
They're at the park having a lovely day.
They're outside running and walking and riding their bikes and they're playing golf.
Man,
they are not.
That sounds
the park
nice.
is packed.
I was going to say, Steve, you're kind of persuading me on this life.
Yeah.
Bye.
I want to go on remote.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm just going to take a run in the park with my headset on. I mean, what is the incentive out there right now? I don't know the answer to this question, but unemployment benefits have drawn back since the COVID stimulus. And I guess people just got used to a lifestyle. I mean, I understand if you got used to working from home and you liked working from home and you want to keep working from home. If your employer says, no, you have to come back into the office and you quit and go find a job where you can work from home. But that's different than
you didn't leave the workforce.
Yeah,
you left it for
a
days.
different opportunity.
Yes.
So tell us who you're hiring for. Maybe people know some people.
So Denise Schaefer's position in
Yeah.
Morning Drive for news anchor and co-host or second chair to Mark Cox is available. And I'm looking for an executive producer for the morning show on KMOX. So those are two good positions that are available.
As somebody who
are seeking actually qualified, with major market experience and the right fit. And I get it. It's not, but I'd like to have applicants to choose from.
Those are huge opportunities.
Yes.
I mean, I have worked my way to where I'm standing right now, doing a lot of crappy jobs for people. I will remain nameless, the person who, when I was gainfully and fully employed, making $7 an hour at a different radio station, came out and asked me to go to a specific gas station and get him a Diet Mountain Dew and an Aquafina, not to be Dasani.
You do what you got to do
And
to
I
work
did
your
it.
way up in the industry.
And I grumbled at myself over. I was like, I'm going to get him to Dasani anyway. And I went and got, how come this is open? No, don't worry about it. But I mean, like, there are a lot of hoops that you have to jump through in this industry specifically. And my experience when I was trying to break into the industry was that the opportunities, they just weren't there. There's not a lot of ways to break in, which Hannah is a very good example of this, being willing to come in and be a part-time associate producer and just throw herself into it. And you've done a great job so far.
Thank you.
And, to be able to be willing to come in and do whatever it is you need to do to stay employed and impress the people and be a rock star and become priceless is a constant thing that you have to do. But to have an opportunity to be the morning producer on KMOX seems to me like that is really a top tier opportunity.
And I'm not actually pitching people for the job right now, although feel free to go to the Odyssey career site and apply. But I was visiting yesterday with Lakeside Exteriors.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a big couple of years with their business. You endorse them. They raved about the job you do for them. They're having a hard time still keeping people to do the jobs that they have.
Yeah, this is a common struggle.
This is a common struggle. And so it's just interesting to see wonder where all the people actually went.
Well, maybe on Mondays, Wiggins America, he'll do his segment on what it's like to work for Steve Moore and persuade people to come apply.
Okay, so I just wanted to say this, Ryan. I'm putting this out there. Trish wanted me to break down your ratings for Wiggins America, and I just thought that's not going to be a good play.
Oh, man. Are they good?
I don't know. I didn't look.
Our ratings are good, right?
You're doing fine.
Say our ratings are good.
You're good.
You're doing
Say
fine.
our ratings are good.
Yeah, just lie is what we're going to do here.
Save the tape.
Fair enough. All right, Steve, thank you. It's
Thank you
great
very
to have
much.
you in here. We appreciate that. Let's take a quick break. A reminder of the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. Will you watch any of the January 6th hearings tonight? You're going to watch it live? You're going to watch the highlights afterwards? Just whatever we cover Friday, or no possible way. Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and vote in that poll, and Hannah will have the results at 2:45. Stick around. Morning Frey Show in a minute.
is The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
I knew it when I met him. I loved him when I left him. Got me feeling like ooh. And then
Decision 2022 is happening. Are you ready to decide? The primary candidates are here because they want to talk to you. Decision 2022. Coverage sponsored by Air Comfort Service and TR Hughes Homes.
Stewart's American Mortgage is the home of the bagel loan, and I've talked to you so long about how interest rates are low, low, low. Well, that's not the case anymore. They've gone up a little bit, but there's still a really good reason why you might want to consider using the bagel loan with Stewart's American Mortgage. Because as rates go up, the interest rates on your credit card debt, they're going to go up as well. Reach out to Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage to get that monkey off your back. Finally, for the last time, take some equity out of your home and use it to pay off this debt so that you don't have to balance both of those different kinds of payments at the same time. When you use the bagel loan with Stewart's American Mortgage, you're going to pay zero in fees that every other lender out there is going to charge you for. Stewart will compete and beat your locked-in rate. If you haven't reached out to him yet, if you are considering this, if you've got one foot in already, don't waste time. Just text him. You can call him as well at 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. That's Stewie's direct line. You can also Google the bagel loan to find out more information. NMLS number 226715.
2022 is zipping by quickly, and if you haven't taken care of that big exterior painting job for your home or business, CertaPro Painters can help. I've depended on CertaPro for all my painting needs for more than a decade now. They talk about something called the power of pro. That's the power of timeliness, the power of doing it right, the power of minimal disruption. They work to make sure it's a smooth project from start to finish. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro Painters, the power of pro. Check out CertaPro.com today.
The first thing you're going to have to learn is that until you stop expecting our politicians or anyone else to change your life isn't going to change. The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how.
Want to learn how? Meet Bill Wumsley's Lifestyles Unlimited team and get your map to retirement in 5 years or less. Saturday and Sunday, June 11th and 12th. In St. Louis. Go to GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential. Register now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
Hey everyone, I'm Ron Darling.
And I'm Jimmy Rollins.
The official baseball rulebook is full of all sorts of strange rules.
But the unwritten rulebook is even weirder.
We each come from different eras, and we each were taught to play the game in different ways.
In this new podcast series, we're going to break down all of the unwritten rules that govern the game, from throwing out a batter to stealing bases during a blowout.
Check out Unwritten from Odyssey and MLB. New episodes start June 1st.
Find it on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
We expect our information in real time. U.S. Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. U.S. Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 800-730-8405 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check. As easy as that's 800-730-8405.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
Adam, man, your aunt parties are the best. I mean, you always find the best kitchens with all the crumbs. And that is why you always have a million aunts at your parties.
Thanks, man. I love finding these homes to do this at.
Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out, so please visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
.com.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus and America too. She's a good girl, crazy about Elvis, loves horses and her boyfriend too. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for being here today. The poll question for today, we're going to get to the results in the 2:45-ish segment with Hannah. But the question is, will you watch any of the January 6th hearings? Watch it live, highlights afterwards, whatever we cover Friday, or no way. You can go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and get your vote in the next 15 minutes. Please go there and vote. And then you can also give us a comment as to why you voted the way you did, if you so are inclined to do so. Brad, what about you? What's your answer to this question?
Well, I think I'm going to be watching the highlights because I don't want to invest that much of my time into basically a political farce.
Do we know how long it's supposed to last?
2 hours. 2 hours of absolute just, I don't know. It can't be entertaining for 2 hours.
It's not supposed to be. I mean, to me, that's the thing is like, it's not technically supposed to be entertainment.
Then why are they having a producer produce it?
Well, I will go back to what Joe Concha said, is they're looking to get good quality production out of it for campaign ads. But if you're going to create something like Donald Trump did things specifically for entertainment value and played things up. And I think he might have brought in some of his apprentice people to do this as well. I don't know that I ever remember it being something that had to do with like the gravity of what is being talked about tonight. But the substance is what's supposed to be the focus, not like how many bells and whistles you can put on it. So right. I don't look at it like if it's not entertaining, so to speak, it's not a failure. If it's full of lies and ventriloquism, then that is of interest to me. So you said you're not going to watch any of it?
I'm just going to get the highlights, yeah.
I think I'm going to try to watch it. I didn't think I was going to watch it before, but I think I'm going to try to watch it. And I think that this is something that is going to be important for me specifically to watch front to back so I can get the full context of what's going on. If I wasn't doing this for a living, I would not watch it at all.
I think I'm going to wait and see what we bring up in the show tomorrow about it. Because I think if I spend 2 hours of my night watching this, I'm going to go to bed angry. I'm going to go to bed upset. And I just know, I think that will ruin my night watching this.
In an instance like this, it's not unlike a lot of other things where you are going to watch this and you're going to notice that nobody who's involved in this has your view or perspective on the direction of the country. That everybody in there has everybody on this committee has a very, very public hatred of Donald Trump, like an unhealthy, obsessive hatred for the man. And I don't want to tune in to observe their, man, I keep thinking of different words I could use for this, and none of them are appropriate. They're pretty much incestuous engagement in trying to disparage Trump once again. I mean,
when is that going to end? When are people going to get over that?
It's not.
Well, it will when Trump is done. And Trump is not done until he's dead. I mean, there's always going to be the threat of another term with Donald. What are they going to say, that he's too old and not mentally fit? I mean, current situation being what it is, if Donald Trump is still a threat to them, it will be their number one priority to throw him down. And I think I think people know that
it's getting old.
Oh.
I mean, I never agreed with them slamming Trump, but I mean, it is getting old. We have so many other problems and issues that we should be discussing and highlighting rather than that. I mean,
is this going to be on a YouTube channel? Is this going to be on a congressional YouTube channel?
Maybe. Because somebody suggested something, didn't they?
Dan says on YouTube, live streaming Annie with comments. Oh, if I weren't doing Slim 180 right now, I would do it with drinks. I might. I don't have anything planned tonight. That's like the number one thing that my husband and I discuss when I'm going out the door. Do we have anything to do tonight? Because we never look past. I mean, we're like a maximum 36 hours out family, but mostly 24 hours, and need to be reminded about the next 12 hours. That's kind of the state of affairs in the Frey household these days. If I'm going to spend my time watching this for 2 hours straight and live stream it, is anybody going to watch it with me? Because I don't need to sit there by myself and everybody being like, this is the worst thing ever. I'm not watching that. So, because I feel like that's the way a lot of people think.
If you live stream it, I'll join you.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and shake fists at the sky at YouTube while you do it. Here's Kevin McCarthy on the hearings.
Speaker Pelosi's Select Committee on January 6th is unlike any other committee in American history. In fact, it is the most political and least legitimate committee in American history. It has used congressional subpoenas to attack Republicans, violate due process, and infringe on the political speech of private citizens. It has actually been caught altering evidence, including the text messages of our ranking member, Jim Jordan. It has permanently damaged the House and divided this country. And let's be honest, it is a smokescreen for Democrats to push their radical agenda.
So that is the reaction of Kevin McCarthy on the subject. Listen to the theatrics of this NBC report on this hearing.
It was the most violent attack on the U.S. Capitol in more than 200 years. And tonight, in the very building where it took place, the House committee investigating the assault will lay out its initial findings in vivid detail for the American people.
It was a multi-level, multi-step process of trying to negate, nullify, and destroy Joe Biden's majority in the Electoral College.
Tonight's presentation, aides say, will serve as an opening statement of sorts, the first in a series of at least 7 hearings intended to show how Donald Trump's obsession with his election loss and repeated false claims of voter fraud laid the foundation for the deadly siege.
So there is one view of the issue, and I'd have to scroll up significantly in the comments to find it. But there was a comment before that said, I didn't agree with any of those people going into the Capitol building that day, but they were just really wandering around. The majority of them were wandering around and walking around. And while it was a moronic decision, if we charged every moron in this country with a crime, we'd run out of people. If you look at the January 6th event and you think it to be anything other than the last thread of democracy connecting the American people with what's left of what Donald Trump just, destroyed on his way out, I could see how you would say, wow, this is a really, really terrible, tragic thing. I heard on Gutfeld the other night, I heard him say that we should ban all of the weapons used in the January 6th insurrection. which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
If you think about it, there weren't any. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. If Adam Kinzinger cries, that will be when I turn off the hearing, or at least hit myself in the head to make it go away. I can't handle it. I don't know. I think I'm going to watch it, though. I'm going to try to watch it, guys. And when I say I'm going to try to watch it, I am doing this. This is my love language to you, because I want to be able to speak on this tomorrow and not just regurgitate what other people's thoughts and opinions are. I'm going to try to formulate my own. I'm going to try so hard. We'll see how it goes. All right. So you said you're going to wait till Friday.
Yep.
You said highlights. And I said I'm going to try to watch it.
Best wishes.
Thank you. Taking one for the team here, folks, just so you know. All right. Last chance to go vote in that YouTube poll before the show is over. Will you watch any of the January 6th hearings? You're going to watch it live. You're going to watch highlights afterwards. You're going to watch whatever we cover Friday, or listen to whatever we cover Friday, or no way, not watching any of it. Go to the Any Fry YouTube channel, vote in the live poll. Hannah will have those results in just a minute. Don't go away.
Free falling.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Free falling.
Mark Reardon Show.
Dr. Safford. Every single patient not only responded to it, but they completely responded. Now, of course, small study needs to be done on a larger scale. Some of them have had 2 years follow-up, and it hasn't come back.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
So today was an exciting day for me in my weight loss journey with Slim 180. I am over 20 pounds down now since May. I got to look up the date here. I've done this multiple times, and I don't know why I don't ever remember. May 19th. I've lost over 20 pounds, so that's less than a month. And I also fit into my size 10 jeans, which is pretty exciting. And that's down 2 pant sizes. So now you all know what size pants I wear. Just threw that out there for the sake of Slim 180, because I'm super grateful for him. When I partnered with Slim 180 and I got to learn about all of their different programs that they had, I picked the one that was best for me. Now, as I was just speaking about, this requires a lot of discipline on my part, but it's worth it because the results are there, and they are there quickly. I am doing this program, and I want you to check it out to see if it's right for you. There are 6 locations across the St. Louis region, and you go sit down with the amazing folks, the amazing counselors that they have there, and you go through the process of saying, yes, I'm going to lose the weight, and I cannot wait to have the kind of success that Annie is having, because I have it. I'm walking proof that the system works. Give them a call, give them a visit, and visit them online right now at myslim180.com.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint, formulated to outsmart the elements. Rain or shine, sleet or snow, mold or mildew. Premium protection from whatever Mother Nature sends our way. Our exterior coatings are designed to last longer, be stronger, and protect your most valuable asset, your home, business, or church. We manufacture, sell, and install for peace of mind for getting the total Rhino Shield experience. 17 years experience maintaining our A+ rating reflects our commitment to our customers and our employees' families. We say what we do, and we do what we say. We're on a mission to elevate the expectation of exterior coatings, one business, condo, church at a time. We do flat and sloped roofs to extend their lives too. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. You know what we did there. Tell them, ladies.
Don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
I'm Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group. I'm proud to say we are a family business. Through innovative financial tools, my nephew Bob and I are committed to making sure your retirement nest egg is kept safe from market declines. As a matter of fact, we have never lost a dime of our clients' money, and we won't lose any of yours either.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, and the secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. As we look ahead at the likelihood of increasing volatility in the market, it's important that you protect your nest egg from market losses, as that's the engine that drives your retirement income.
Our family would like to help your family retire comfortably and keep your retirement safe and secure. Call us now for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 36 years. Call us now, 314-993-9494, or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Need a break from the sound bites and the talking heads? Do you want information you can actually use? Information that'll change your life for the better? Then listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon, and if you're looking to get the exterior of your home or business repainted, CertaPro's expert painters can help. They focus on the power of timeliness, the power of inspiration, the power of doing it right, the power of localness, the power of minimal disruption. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated and can help make your home or business look amazing. Get your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. I've hired CertaPro for more than a decade because the work is amazing. For your home or business and the power of pro, CertaPro painters.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get in your comfort zone with a new HVAC system and see if you qualify for 0% financing and $100 to $900 in utility rebates. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Bringing you up-to-the-minute traffic like nobody else. Sue Thomas and dependable traffic, driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. Is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I am like partially devastated inside. Hans was on with us at 1:25 on the Odyssey app. You can rewind to there to hear what his thoughts were on the SCOTUS rulings, but specifically the Kavanaugh threat, the attempted murder of Brett Kavanaugh. Are you kidding me? Am I saying these words out loud? But he's talking about that Roe v. Wade case probably coming down at the end of June. I'm going to be on vacation at the end of June, and I cannot reschedule this vacation, but I am going to be so sad / happy, hopefully, depending on what the ruling is, to not be here to cover that.
Your wheelhouse, all of the things are hitting your vacation. That's the Illinois primary too, right?
June 28th.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could vote early though. I think I'm going to go vote early, and I got to find out how much of that I can video, but I might video the process so you can see how simple it is to vote early. Yes. The primary. I should have planned that better.
Or maybe you timed it perfectly.
Maybe I did.
Maybe you did.
Okay. Let's get to the YouTube live chat poll, Hannah.
The poll today is, will you watch any of the January 6th primetime hearings? 49% of the people said no way, they're not watching it. 30% of the people said what they'll find out from whatever we cover on Friday. 15% of the people voted they will watch the highlights afterwards, and 6% of the people said they will watch the January 6th primetime hearings live.
Trisha, we just talked about what we were doing. Brad said he's going to watch the highlights. Hannah said whatever we cover tomorrow. I said I'm going to try to watch it live. What are you going to do?
I'm going to highlights in your coverage.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a programming question Steve asked me about earlier this week. Is this something 97.1 should have carried?
I don't think so.
That was my instinct.
I can't see this being something of interest to our audience.
Well, it depends.
If we're
on
not wanting to watch it,
yeah.
then.
that was the temperature I took. I started asking around, and
it depends on how we view the purpose of the station. And, I think the purpose of the station is to serve our listeners. And I think we know our listeners very well. And I don't really, first of all, those things are this time literally made for TV.
Lights and all.
It's not going to be something that is going to be a good radio experience. There's a lot of, what do you call that? Like formalities that go on in a hearing like that. And you're going to have people points of order and back and forth. And if you can't see what's going on, that's just not a radio experience. So for that alone, I would say no. But on top of it, we are covering and acknowledging it on the shows. Everybody's going to cover it. Mark Cox in the morning will be covering it in his own way. I will do the same. So will Mark Reardon. And Brian Kilmeade is going to be doing it as well. It's not like we're avoiding it or ignoring it. But if it's not a good auditory listening experience and we know the sham that it's going to be. Fox News isn't even carrying it.
Right.
So
Yeah. No, that was
good call, programming team. Hell no.
Steve was like, "You want to do it?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Is KMOX airing it? KMOX is airing it. If for all the 97.1 listeners out there who really want to hear it.
Did you hear me? I'm like,
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you right now, you're not going to hear me say this very much. You can listen to it on KMOX.
Some of our listeners had some things to say about it. Mark Reed from YouTube says, "Why watch? We already know the outcome. I'm PO'd about what happened, but don't want to blame Trump or anyone else. There for the rally." Amy from YouTube says, "I will absolutely not give them any satisfaction of ratings." James from YouTube says, "I will watch Fox, take it apart on Friday." You could also hear us. Lori Feltz from YouTube says, "I might look at it now and then just to see what's going on, but will not watch the whole thing for sure. Might decide not to watch only for a little bit at the beginning." Dustin Strong from Facebook says, "He's not going to watch that circus." And Chuck from Facebook says, "No way."
Chuck from Facebook says that? Oh, that's not my dad. I'm like, Dad.
Other Chuck.
What are you
from
doing?
Facebook.
There are two of them, and this is the other one. The other Chuck.
G Wibs just asked, "Is it going to be on E?"
I don't know. I
Produced
might
the same way.
I might live stream it. If I can find a YouTube, if it's on the congressional YouTube channel, I might stream it live. And if I fall asleep, I mean, you can sit there and watch it with me. I'd love the views. But it's like going to be a real chore to sit through that.
It's going to be something.
Especially since the initial foray into this committee, it was supposed to include Rodney Davis, and among others, and he wanted to be on that committee. People really attacked him for participating in it. He wanted to be on that committee because he had a lot of questions that he wanted to ask Nancy Pelosi under oath about that whole process. And they said, "No, you are not allowed to participate in this." That's crazy.
That's insane.
And they're like, "We need Republicans, Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger."
So like a committee hearing like this is supposed to be just that. It's supposed to be a hearing. There's supposed to be people from both sides on it. They don't have that. They have 2 Republicans and then the rest are Democrats, and there's no counterpoint. If this were a trial, this would be a sham trial because there's nobody there to present any counter evidence. Everybody's in the same boat, rowing the same way, and that's exactly what they want out of it.
Here's who's on the committee. In the majority, Benny Thompson of Mississippi, Chair Zoe Lofgren, California's Adam Schiff, barf. I think I just changed my mind of what I'm doing tonight. California, Pete Aguilar, California's Stephanie Murphy, Florida's Jamie Raskin. I don't like him either. And Maryland's Elaine. Oh, no, Jamie. Okay, I read those wrong. Bernie Thompson's from Mississippi. Chair Zoe Lofgren's from California. Adam Schiff's from California. Pete Aguilar's from California. Stephanie Murphy's from Florida. Jamie Raskin's from Maryland. And Elaine Luria is from Virginia. The minority, Liz Cheney, Wyoming. Vice Chair, Adam Kinzinger, Illinois.
Is that it? Is that actually it?
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
That's the committee.
I don't even have comments.
It's a select committee. It's not an actual.
So I was reading it and I thought they were just using those 2 to brag, you know, like, "Oh, and we have Republicans. Here's these 2. I'm like, there's got to be like a couple more under there somewhere.
And we have
right?
Republicans, and it's these 2,
and
that's
just
it.
these 2.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy. Man. The more that I am repulsed by it, the more I think, come on, Annie, man up and do it. Yeah, I said it. I said it. So tomorrow's Friday. I don't have a guest yet for Wiggins America. Any suggestions?
Rob Kramer?
It's a possibility. This would be during Rob Kramer's normal segment. If he's, but remember, when he's not here, it's because he's a sales manager and he's selling things, which is his big job, and that helps keep us on the radio. So I've said this last time. If you would like a personal audience with Rob Kramer and to advertise on the station, I can set that up for you. So we would love to connect you. But I'm thinking about how we can do this. But Wiggins will be back on Monday.
Oh, no kidding.
Hannah from the top row. He just sent us he sent the group a message on Twitter. And did you guys see this yet?
Yep.
The gaming one?
It says Gigamon. I don't know what he's doing, but He says, "I'm number 4." A really weird.
He always aims so
It's
high.
a really weird brag. Nice flex. And it's this and score for the all capitals whole day. I think I'm going to tweet this picture out. Did you see this picture? Look at him. Doesn't he look cool?
He looks so cool.
Doesn't he look like a dad?
Man, vacation.
He's such a
Vacation Ryan is so different.
Do you see how
is.
focused he is?
He's so different on vacation.
He's pretty spicy.
Yeah.
Spicy.
Language.
Did you really just send a picture of your softball league
My league
champions?
champion shirt. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The whole league
Men.
champions.
The whole league?
The whole league.
All right, girls. How come we're awesome?
Man,
Let's brag about ourselves here.
Ooh, good and smart and fast.
If I'm being chased.
We can jump so high
No.
on a trampoline.
Folks, if I'm running, you should be too. That's the God's honest truth. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Do we care about anything Johnny Depp and Amber Heard anymore? Are we over this?
I'm done.
I'm good.
I read an
okay.
article that said that Johnny Depp may not make her pay it. If he doesn't make her pay it, is it all for naught, or is that like an extra cherry on top of Johnny Depp being the poster boy for good human that he was trying
I
to
believe
achieve?
that would be considered heaping burning coals upon her head.
I'm sure that's not what he's doing. I understand what you're saying, but I'm pretty sure that's not the motivation. Do you think it's a good move?
I actually don't care.
If he doesn't, okay. Trisha, do you think it's a good move?
Yeah, I don't really care either, but yeah, I think so. Because at this point, all he's doing is looking out for his image, right?
Yeah, I think that's kind of been the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she has the money.
I was just thinking that. I don't think she can pay it anyway. Does she go to jail if she can't pay it? Because if somebody drugged me,
No,
through
she's
the
in
mud like
California.
that-
Nobody goes to jail in California.
Fair point.
True.
Well
Can you
made.
imagine Amber
Or
Heard
St.
sitting in
Louis
jail
City.
because she couldn't pay Johnny Depp and they're like murderers walking around going, sucks to be you. Yeah. Do you care?
No.
Not at all?
No. I'd be good if I didn't hear anything more about either one of them. I think they got way too much
It was a
attention
lot.
over this.
I saw her sister tweeted out some kind of or said something about supporting her and you did the right thing. And I thought, did you though?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's for him. I think it has to be. He was just in it for the verdict, not necessarily the award or the money. It was all about, having his name cleared in a court of law.
I'm looking through Yahoo headlines right now, and here's one. It says Representative Ted Lieu silently schools GOP on Jesus Christ's comments about homosexuality.
Mhm.
It's like not an
Thanks,
article
Ted.
that I even want to read. This is the important stuff here. Has the GOP been fighting over what Jesus was saying about homosexuality?
It's news to me.
Man, it's as if we have no other problems in the world to talk about, that everything is going so swimmingly well right now that we can afford to spend time talking about the Johnny Depps, the Amber Heards, and the Ted Lieu's of the world. Man, if government would just get out of the way, we would be doing a lot better right now. All right, go subscribe to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, and maybe, just maybe, I'll do a live tonight. If we get some subscriptions, maybe I'll motivate me.
Amanda
people.
wants you to do it just so she can see your facial expressions.
Oh man, if you're gonna hear some of those bad words I'm not allowed to say according to the FCC on the radio. Mark Reardon Show coming up next. Don't go away.
If you've been waiting for the perfect time to get your Missouri medical marijuana card, today is the day at 4